Hello and welcome, DPL fans. Alright, we're here for week
Hi, I'm a
6
DPL
watch
fan.
party. Wait, DPL fan? Is that you? Do I still have the stream in my clipboard? Let's see. Looks like it, yep. Do that there, and then also in the DPL uploads channel. Bang. Oh, shout out to the
So,
Trick of Eye diss track,
The
eh?
title says with Glop 4. Where is Glop 4?
He's just fat, I guess. He's taking his sweet time to get here. But we're gonna start off with Scovillains versus Slay the Spiker. Yes. Alright, let me get things all situated. But yeah.
Doesn't make any. Oh, well, hey there.
Oh hey there. It's actually Glopper in the
Hey,
flesh.
Glop 4.
How did I magically get into the stream? Hey guys.
Oh wow.
They summoned
just
you.
that's just so weird. Hi.
Crazy how that happens. Alright, so yeah, I've got about 4 hours, a little bit less actually, so probably not gonna do too much like team preview analysis in this one as we usually do. But
Sure.
but yeah, should be good. How's that Trigger by diss track, huh? I think that Wyatt won. No, he
Filled with inaccuracies.
Yeah? You mean that?
Yeah.
That's tough.
I was a fan. I heard good things. Dashing Kevs sung my praises, and realistically,
I
That's all
really
you
enjoyed
need.
Dashing Kev's reaction video. That was
Yeah, it was
that
tough.
extremely
no,
entertaining.
like no matter what anybody says about it, the fact that Dashing Kevs enjoyed it, to me, that's a win.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, out.
Good
What's up,
morning,
Slick?
chat.
Oh my god, Fud's in my stream? Ugh. We might be getting banned today.
Stinker.
Oh, okay.
Ugh.
Bonus round.
What's up, Vergi? I think that Wyo won. No, he did it.
Yeah, he'd be right, unlike the video saying.
yeah. Yeah, we've added a few soundboards to the server as well. It's just tough, you know? Game was so
Oh, hey, let's
easy.
see.
Yeah.
I-
Bonus round.
I mean, every game's easy for the born winner.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. My dimensions are a little bit off. Let me fix this. Usually have it right about there. All right. So, let's just get started. Wait, my music. There it is. Is this looped? Yeah.
It's game one, right?
Yeah, Game 1, Series 1, Slay the Spiker, Scovillains. And it's going to be Jimmy G versus Luxans for the ORAS game of the week. And here, I mean, yeah, Game 1. There's a Quilladin, so booyah. They had like a couple Quilladins, right? Or am I thinking of a previous week?
I'm pretty
No,
sure.
I'm thinking
well,
of a
we've
previous week where Burna
just seen
played
a
a
lot of-
Quilladin.
Well, then, yeah, we've seen a lot of it still be drafted. It's interesting.
Yeah, so a couple Quilladins recently. Alrighty. Game 1, here we go. Jimmy G going to lead off with the Bronzong, trying to get Rock's early game, limit the Weavile switch in, but here's that Weavile right in front of it. We are Colberberry Bronzong, as well as Eevee to take even a Choice Banded beat up. So, can just pretty safely stay in and go for that heavy slam. Make sure this Weavile, if it stays in, it has to be Focus Sash, which it is. So Swords Dance, lead Focus Sash, almost certainly going to be beat up. Can't really switch into +6 or +2 beat up with 6 alive, right? So something has to die here. And Bronzong, I mean here, the main thing we need rocks for is this Weavile. So maybe getting rocks up, we can live without it. And so the Bronzong is just going to go down to the beat up, as well as, you know, if it wasn't beat up, then we just win that trade very convincingly with the Colberberry. But here, Bronzong goes down, and we're going to be forced to take a big chip on our Skarmory, unfortunately.
Can I just say I admire Jimmy's nickname of Boosted to lull you into a false sense of security, thinking that it's going to be weakness policy? Because he
Yeah.
has run that a handful
That was
of times.
tough. And then he's just like, Skarmer. The Y is silent, bro. Anyways,
Now the Golurk is the best nickname, I swear.
so the lead Weavile does its job, right? kills one of the steel types, severely weakens the other. So now it's going to open up this Landorus, which, I mean, the ground type versus the steel types, both of them are off the ground, so this is important for it. Can potentially go for a Focus Blast, just knock it out, or a Hidden Power Fire, which Jimmy's going to pivot into Blastoise on. And now can just throw off a pretty safe Scald, fishing for a burn. A burn on Electros or Quilladon would be very Thanos, but unfortunately doesn't get it, and that reveals Assault Vest Electros. So gonna pivot to Garchomp, get that Rough Skin, block the Volt Switch, catch a Super Fang, which is going to trigger Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet, bring this down to 51. But now our Chomp is in HP Ice range, so going to pivot out into Lurking Puncher, the Golurk. It will take that Hidden Power Ice very comfortably, and now fire off a Dynamic Punch, putting Quilladin, I mean, he's a little bit confused, isn't he? Lux doesn't really want to risk this, I think, so gonna pivot out into Metagross as we go to Roserade. So Metagross kind of covers a bunch of plays there. You're never Earthquaking with the Golurk there.
It's a good heads-up play by Lux.
Yeah. Now Metagross in, going to, once again pivot to Golurk, catches that Hidden Power Fire, probably, aimed at Skarmory. Could be Electric, hitting Skarmory and Blastoise at the same time, but we don't know yet.
Well,
so here,
Golurk would be immune to that, so.
But it's still predicting the switch out, of course, right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
understand.
wouldn't take the hit.
Yeah, got it. So Earthquake here as the Quilladin once again comes in, takes 23%. But Roserade can punish this on the Synthesis. And now this can be a Spike turn. It could be a T-Spike turn. So that's going to poison both the Lopunny and the Quilladin. There is no removal, so that is guaranteed. But Metagross does make its way on the field. So we go Blastoise to absorb a Trick. But folks,
how did Jimmy do that?
Yeah, how did he do that? Is this Specs Metagross? Do we know from the hidden power damage? 27 to our Golurk. Feels like
it's not Scarf.
Is that Specs though?
No, Specs would do more.
Is our Golurk AV? It might be. I don't actually know.
It's not AV, but I can tell you Metagross is like 90 special attack. Like it's usable, right? So that's just, to me, that just looks like a 90 special attack hidden power. So it's probably just Scarf. It makes sense too to get the jump on like something like Garchomp. You can outspeed it, revenge it with an Ice Punch after an SD.
Well,
so
we'll see. Electros once again coming in on the Scald. If we get a burn here, it's 2 KO'd, but no burn once again. And we go Garchomp, but Lux makes a great play, catches that with the Hidden Power Ice. This does allow the Roserade to come in, and it is threatening a KO with Leaf Storm unless you go to Metagross. So Lux is going to go to that Metagross, catches that Leaf Storm, just 38%. And now we're going to see a double to Electros trying to call the switch to Blastoise, but Jimmy stays in, calls that double switch into the Electros, catches it with the -2 Leaf Storm. And now
Jimmy's raw for that. Jimmy's raw as fuck.
Stays in again for the -4 Leaf Storm, which will knock out the Electros. This does allow a free switch into Landers for a potential setup turn, so Calm Mind is going to get clicked. And we have, well, looks like 4 Pokemon slower than Landorus. So somebody's going to have to take this +1 hit. It's going to be Blastoise. Here's the Earth Power. We have an Ice Beam, we have a Scald, and we get a crit through the Calm Mind boost.
Poor Michael.
Poor Michael, unfortunate. But now, Lopunny can come in, potentially threatening like a Retaliate that would just pick up a KO here. So just going to sack the Golurk off. But here, Lopunny goes for a Fake Out, and that's going to bring our Golurk into potential Custap range. And Lux, maybe not willing to take that risk, is going to switch out here into Quilladin as we go for the Dynamic Punch. Confuse the Quilladin. At this point, we've revealed it's not actually the Custap, you know, but Lux maybe psyched himself out a little bit.
I think it's a reasonable scout.
It's
right?
reasonable, yeah.
It's
but
game losing if you lose that piece.
For sure.
Right? I think that Quilladin has a lot less value than a Lopunny, and usually when you see random low-tier Pokemon, especially ones that are more tailored for offense, Custap is almost always one of the first things that players will fall to as the item for that Pokemon.
But here, it's going to hit itself as the Blastoise gets a free switch in, and now hits itself again as the rest goes off, healing up the Blastoise to full. And now, going to switch out to that Golurk, potentially sacking it off to a Wood Hammer, but a Super Fang comes instead. So Quilladin very low. Gonna go for a Synthesis, trying to stay alive, as we go for an Earthquake, trying to catch maybe a switch to Metagross on the Dynamic Punch. But instead, Roserade is going to be the pivot in as another Synthesis comes out, and we go for the Hidden Power, knocks it out. And we're going to go to Lopunny crucially. Now, is this Hidden Power Fire? No, this is Hidden Power Poison on Scarf Roserade. So it gets that Technician, Stab, Hidden Power, and now this Lopunny is in range of the next Poison. So can just sack the Golurk. Lopunny going to be a double down there, and now it's Blastoise at full HP versus Metagross at 62.
Yo, am I missing something? Oh! Wait, Jimmy G is a fucking genius. I was like, why would we not just be Sludge Bomb? The bulletproof.
The bulletproof,
Jimmy thought of
yeah.
everything.
He really did.
Oh, my lord.
But here you can see, this Metagross is slower than the Blastoise, so it's not Scarf Trick. Maybe Toxic Orb Trick, but that doesn't catch the Scarm, doesn't catch Blastoise, wouldn't make sense. So maybe this is Specs.
It could just not be an item. Or it could just not be a choice item, right? It could just be like Iron Ball, right? Because if you think about it, like into Scarm and Bronzong, I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
It does, yeah.
That's a
So
lot
here's the
of
Scald
damage.
and the Psyshock. But here, Metagross moves first.
Speed tie, holy shit.
And we catch the Sleep Talk Rest.
Oh, then it can't be Iron Ball.
I think it
Whoever
has to
moves
be
first
Specs,
wins.
right?
I
This is a bulky
47,
Blastoise, 39.
43 on Blastoise, that seems like a lot.
And also, you keep in mind, like, Electros did, like, 30-something to Golurk with Hidden Power, super effective, and this was, like, neutral Hidden Power, and it did, like, 27. So I
Our
think it
Golurk-
is Specs.
Our Golurk wasn't AV, right?
I actually don't know. I think he changed the Golurk since the last time I looked at his paste.
Wow.
But, I think it might be Specs, and here, the Speed Tie, we win the Speed Tie, we wake up, and Scald knocks it out. So definitely on the lucky end for Jimmy G.
So, actually, my head calcs are off. I just calced modest Choice Specs Hidden Power Fire onto max HP Golurk, and like the min roll is 27, which is accurate to
Yeah,
what
it
we
makes
saw
sense
in the
then.
game.
So this was
Wow.
a Specs Metagross. But Jimmy managed to win the Speed Tie, which, by the way, how is it a Speed Tie? They're not the same base speed, brother.
That is pretty insane.
And what I think happened is they probably speed crept a slow Blastoise, which we are slow Blastoise, but then they put Hidden Power Fire on it and dropped the IV because it's Gen 6, thus resulting in a Speed Tie. So potentially a massive game-losing oversight on the EV spread of Metagross, but hey, we'll take that, going up 1-0 in the series as we go on to Game 2. Shout out to the Scovillains. Post-mids
This, I
Jimmy must
believe,
be
is
studied.
Yurdunk.
Yeah, this is Yurdunk versus Lucas. And yeah, so Yurdunk, he's been using this kind of crazy Torn team with Bramblegast and Sandy Shocks. There's an Urshifu on the bench. But yeah, Terra Torn, Terra Sandy Shocks. He's been using Sandy Shocks quite well the entire season, but here it is going to go up against this Lando T, which is why it is rocking the Terra Water. Gets that defensive typing into Quaquaval and the Iron Moth, but also hits the Landorus for good Terra Blast damage. But at the same time, there is a Terra Fairy Torn. Could be clicking that as well. So Terra Fairy able to check stuff like the Roaring Moon and the Quaquaval pretty easily. You get that Terra Blast coverage into the Moon. Makes a lot of sense. On our side, we have Terra Fairy on our Moth and Terra Steel on the Quaquaval. So let's get into the game. Torn going to lead off into the Landorus Therian to Intimidate, and an Icy Wind does 87 huge damage to the Landorus as we go for a U-turn. That's going to reveal Scarf Torn because our Lando was Scarf as well. So now Tinkaton can get the free rocks up if we want, but Cinderace is going to come in and threaten a court change. The Landorus is going to come in on said court change, and it is Blaze Cinderace, so cannot stay in here. Going to see a Stone Edge catching a switch to Bramblegast, but it is physically defensive, and Stone Edge misses, but wouldn't have mattered. Strength Sap going to bring it all the way back up to full regardless. Now, going to be forced out of there into the Iron Moth. Gives the booster energy on the speed as spikes go up. Now, Dragonite going to pivot in on this Fiery Dance. Does 9%. We get the boost, and now we're going to see E-Speed just taking the safe 2-hit KO as Dazzling Gleam comes out. And yeah, so Iron Moth trading for some HP on Dragonite. Now Ogerpon Wellspring is in position to carry. The resist is now basically dead, but Bramblegast also is there. So Fully Fizdef is able to take that play rough. But here, the Landosac denies the Strength Sap. So this Bramblegast will be forced to remain low HP as Roaring Moon comes onto the field. Potentially can Dragon Dance here, although we do know that this is Scarf Terra Fairy Torn. So a Dragon Dance could happen here, but a switch to Torn would catch that. Here is the Dragon Dance as Bramblegast stays in to go for a Nightshade. So Roaring Moon is going to knock out this Bramblegast at this point. Because if you Dragon Dance again, you're in E-Speed range. Don't really want that. So now Torn comes in. This is now forced to click a move into Roaring Moon. So Luca's going to switch here into the Tinkaton, potentially trying to catch a Terra Blast Fairy, but instead Eurodunk makes the heads-up play, goes for a U-turn, but we do have the eject button to catch that and get a free switch to Quaquaval.
To elaborate on that a little bit, it's a relatively safe play for Eurodunk to make because it's pretty unlikely a booster attack Dragon Dance Roaring Moon has the move slots for Roost, and by going for U-turn, you can just put Dragonite on the field, basically saying, hey, if you Dragon Dance, then I get to pick you off with E-Speed, and if you attack and kill me, so be it. I go right back to Torn, I get another U-turn for momentum. So,
exactly,
good awareness there by Eurodunk.
Mm-hmm. So Quaquaval in, this Torn is locked in a U-turn, so it has to click that as we go for an Aqua Step, but this reveals to be fully physically defensive Metagross. We're going to see a Terra Steel on the Quaquaval as CC only does 35%, and Body Press catches that Terra Steel, trying to catch like a Zen Headbutt or Psychic Fangs, I guess. But Eurodunk sees right through that, hits the Body Press, and that's going to be a KO. Looking very good for Eurodunk here. Roaring Moon going to come in. Goes for a Bullet Punch, does live the Bullet Punch. An Earthquake, though, not going to knock out the Metagross. But here, it's going to stay in and not go for the Bullet Punch. Says, hey, I actually want the Roaring Moon to be in. I don't want my Metagross to be potential setup fodder for like a Trailblaze Ogerpon, as that could get a little bit out of hand now that the Bramblegast is down. So, again, another heads-up play from Eurodunk. But the Torn is going to come in, revenge this Roaring Moon with the U-turn, knock it out, as Cinderace is going to come in. Now the Ogerpon does come in, but it is at 51. Cinderace is threatening. The U-turn is super effective, but doesn't KO.
It's not Protean.
Goes for the Trailblaze, but because this Torn is Scarf, which is a great bring into us, the U-turn is a pretty safe kill on this Ogerpon, unless we get 7 Spiky Shields in a row, but obviously not going to go for that. U-turn to Sandy Shocks, gets the Photosynthesis, Speed, and Tinkaton. Is not able to 1v1 this with the Earth Power. And that's going to be a pretty strong showing from Eurodunk, not going to lie.
No, that was an ass beating.
It was, yeah.
Let's call it what it is. Like,
Yeah.
that's brutal. Really great sets, good awareness by Eurodunk, a lot of heads up, intelligent sequencing, and really great job managing the slew of setup threats from Lucas's end. So just really brilliantly played by Eurodunk, truly.
Yeah, because I really could have gotten scary if the Ogerpon was allowed to Trailblaze on like 2% Metagross, and then Torn is forced to like hit Bleak Wind, because you don't have Terra Flying, Terra Blast or anything like that. You'd have to go for a Bleak Wind. If you miss that, it's looking kind of rough, honestly. So yeah, just always putting himself in position to have the safe path forward. So 1-1 in the series.
Yep.
All right, Swish, you wanna? We have the Swish expert here.
Of course. Let me finish chewing my turkey sandwich.
Oh, sure. But we do have Killer versus Genius X. Now, Killer had to sub in for Violet River due to personal reasons. But, you know, he's going to do his best. Genius, obviously, one of the best players in draft, so it's going to be a tough one. But Glop, I know you helped him extensively for this week, so.
Yeah, so key highlights here, right? Victini, incredibly strong in this matchup. There's only 2 fire resist on Zing Zen, the Rotom Wash, and then a benched Marowak. Things we got to look out for is going to be, I guess Mienshao can get out of hand if it's the right set and we don't position correctly. Landorus is always very threatening to the Tapu Koko, Victini, Hydreigon structures. So depending on if it's like Rock Polish or some kind of late game setup, could be very annoying for us to face. So we can go ahead and start the game here. I think we're dedicating leading off with the Koko. And turn 1, probably trying to go for a Nature's Madness onto this just to get some chip and information, but we're going to take a Scarf. Ironhead is going to crit and flinch the Koko, so Good heads up double there from Zing, knowing that we're probably going to retreat to a resistance, and Rotom matches up favorably into both of those. Does allow him to go for a Volt Switch onto the Blastoise, as I believe we just go for a flip turn of our own, keeping up the offensive tempo, and that's going to create an entry point here for Mamoswine. Just going to allow us to get up rocks early, because a lot of Zing's way of handling our team is switching and responding to them, so those rocks are going to go a long way in chipping down his team. We're going to go for the Superpower here. We do have the Eject Pack. It's going to put crucial damage onto the Rotom, and we see the Rocky Helmet, which it tells us importantly that it's not Citrus or Leftovers, so we know for sure now that the V-Create can 2-hit KO Rotom upon switching. This allows Hydreigon to come in off the Eject, as we're going to see Zing go for a Defog, which is a nice play to keep the field clear, but at this point, it's very obvious Zing needs to hold on to the Rotom. It's the only V-Create resist, and I basically told Killer, if that's what the sequence that happens, always just spam Fire Blast. So he's going to go ahead and make that play. He's going to catch Strachey on switch. A little bit of revenge RNG here. We're going to get the burn. In my eyes, I feel like that's fair for getting the crit flinch turn 1 on Coco, because now what happens is this Mienshao comes in, and we don't have like a sturdy switch that isn't risky. If we go to Victini on a knockoff, that's pretty much game losing, so we're pretty much forced to go into Coco here. And we're going to take a high jump kick to the face, get knocked out, which is surprising because we have a considerable amount of bulk on that Pokemon. But this does allow Victini to come in and claim its kill, because if you're Scarfed, you're obviously locked into the fighting move. And again, because we got that Eject Pack damage, we know for sure that the Rotom's going to be in range of 2 V-Creates from Scarf Victini, going to allow it to pick it off, and now we have a Sack War lead of 5-4. This, however, does give entry for the Landers to come in. Could be a setup threat here, so we're going to have to make the heads-up switch, go right out into our Blastoise to threaten the super effective flip turn, as Zing is going to reveal to be Explosion, I think, this turn, right?
Yeah, bang! So gonna spin block, but also blocks the flip turn, so Blastoise remains on the field, and I guess you can go to anything really to revenge besides the Grimmsnarl.
Correct. And Zing sees the Blastoise at 20, says, okay, this is a great chance to just click U-turn, but we do have the classic Clop Leftovers Protect.
Mm-hmm.
And importantly, it is going to put us out of range of the U-turn. And this is significant because when Torrent comes in, it's got to take this Torrent boosted flip turn, which is going to put it in range of the max attack Adamant Acrobatics. So Killer here going to go for a sub, knowing that Zing probably wants to preserve the Tornadus. This allows us to just fire off Acrobatics for free, as Grimmsnarl is going to retaliate back with Spirit Break, and now it can reveal its tech, the way to keep Hawlucha in check, which is the Prankster Trick Lagging Tail. Hawlucha's going to find its KO, but that allows Torrent to come back in. Can just pick it off with a Hurricane here, but now we have a relatively healthy Hydreigon in the back, and we get to reveal our secret tech, which is the Tailwind. So if Zing had landed both of these Hurricanes in this sequence, what would happen is we get off the chip with Dragon Pulse, and then we have 2 turns of Tailwind with a max attack Victini that just kills both Pokemon. So really, the miss did not matter at this point. The minute Tailwind goes up, the game is as good as done. But instead, we're going to see Hydreigon wrap up the game in a beautiful fashion, a win for Tailwind, and a dominant 3-0 win for Killer of Impersonators.
This really has been the year of the Tailwind in DPL. Multiple opportunities for like Kartana earlier in the season, and now Hydreigon using that Tailwind speed boost to just clean up endgames with the like damage boost of Life Orb and the double speed. I mean, maybe doubles players they know what they're talking about, maybe a little bit. But now we have my game, and here,
a heads up on this game. Just whatever you do, probably don't read the battle chat, right? Like, probably don't.
This was maybe one of the most AIDS battle chats of all time, but that's the way I like it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it can happen. Yeah, it certainly wasn't Slay the Spiker's fault, but all right, to go into my prep a little bit. So for this week, I actually had a few ideas. Basically, Azu is Giga Thanos, and everything else is like really not too bad. There's some Zarut sets that are threatening, as always, but I have Fez, I have Scizor, I have Raikou that's faster, Darkrai that's faster. It's gonna be like, it has to be pretty C-teamy for Zarut to get out of hand. So really, the number one thing I'm worried about is that Belly Drum Azu with Terra Water. That thing is an absolute menace. I don't have great water resist on my team, so I do have a few ways to counteract that. First off, being my max defense Rocky Helmet Fezandipity, even +6 Terra Water is a roll heavily in my favor to live on Fez. I get the Rocky Helmet, I get a P-Jab, I get another Rocky Helmet if they went for that Jet, and that's going to put it in my Bullet Punch range from Thanos Supreme the Scizor, which is going to be Terra Steel Choice Banded here. If you look at his team, like, he doesn't have steel resists outside of that Cinderace and that Crown, both of which I mean, Cinderace, I have an Aloe, I have a physically defensive Lando T. It's really like the opposite of a threat. The Iron Crown is a little bit more annoying, but if that Iron Crown is switching in on a Bullet Punch, I'm more than happy with that, because like a setup Iron Crown is one of the only ways that things can get out of hand for me. So I'm worried about that, but I'm really not worried about the Cinderace. So Scizor is going to be functioning basically as my Scarfer here with the Banded Bullet Punch, allowing me to kind of stack offensive items on my Raikou and my Darkrai. My Darkrai is going to be Life Orb with Sucker Punch. That's going to help into that aforementioned Terra Water Azumarill, which they do have here. If it does Terra into water to resist my Bullet Punch, Sucker Punch will do enough damage so that the combination of the priorities and the Rocky Helmets will always put it in range. So that's my game plan against it. I also had this funny thought of what if I'm just like really fast skill swap Aloe and I take away its huge power, but I didn't end up going with that because AV Aloe was really, really nice in the mid game to reposition into my big threats like the Specs Raikou. Now, they did have a Mamoswine on the bench, but Mamoswine into Scizor, Aloe, it really just didn't feel like it was likely to come. Like, every single mock was against these 6 exactly. So, I made the boss call, put Choice Specs on my Raikou, and here you're going to see Terra Water on the Zarude, which I was very happy to see. This is going to mean Raikou is completely unlocked to carry this game. As, like, really the only switch in a Volt Switch is the Latias. And like Latias is just Scizor food, and if I can just spam Scizor steel moves, the game's going to be done very quickly. So yeah, Terra Water's Zarude, Terra Water, and then Terra Steel on my Scizor. Let's get into it. So Cinderace is going to lead off into my Raikou. This was always the plan, to lead Raikou into non-Terra Ground Zarude, and so now Cinderace in. I know for a fact that this is going to be bulky Cinderace because my Scizor is just way too Thanos if this is offensive, so I'm not in any danger of like dying to Choice Banded Pyro Ball. I'm just going to stay in because if this does go for a Pyro Ball and I get off this Specs Volt Switch on Cinderace, that's Bullet Punch range, which is really, really good for me. I will take that trade any day of the week. And here the Pyro Ball does come out, reveals 0 attack Cinderace, but does burn me, which is unfortunate but not the end of the world because I do get this massive Volt Switch. Not only do I get this big chip, but I don't even put it in Blaze range, so it's not even like hitting any harder. And now I get my Darkrai in for a Life Orb hit. I can go for a Dark Pulse or a Sludge Bomb here. I go for the Sludge Bomb because sometimes people are running AV Azumarill as the early game pivot to Darkrai, because otherwise they really don't have great switch-ins. Sludge Bomb also covers like a hard switch to Darkrai, or to the Zarude here. So I'm just going to go for it as he makes a good play, goes into the Latias, which reveals to be no bulk, but I'm not going to risk like a Colbert or a Scarf here. My Darkrai is way too valuable, and I have an AV Aloe, so just going to go to that. So good play from Vinny here, but I dodged the Draco, which denies him information, but that would have literally done like 25% to my Aloe, so yeah, again, matters for information, but nothing outside of that. I go for a flip turn as Glimmora hits the field, and that's going to reveal max physically defensive and the eject button. That's going to mean that Zarude enters the field against my Aloe, which is a great position. It's what he's planning for with the sequence, but T-Spikes are up. I have my max defensive Fezandipity, and I can just go to it here. If this Zarude doesn't Terra to Water, my Fez will wall it forever, and if it does Terra Water, then I don't need to maintain full HP on my Fezandipity for the Azumarill. So this really covers both while absorbing the T-Spike, so I like this here. Goes for a Sword Stance, and I do have Charm on this Fezandipity as like a counteract to like bulk up Zarude, which otherwise is like a pretty big threat. But seeing Sword Stance and Terra Water, I'm thinking this could very well be Clear Amulet to cover like Intimidate Landorus. If this is like offensive Terra Water Terra Blast, Intimidate would mean that my Lando lives, but if you have Clear Amulet, you could just one-shot that thing. So I didn't want to Charm on that Clear Amulet. So I'm just going to go for the U-turn. This does 2 things, right? This route, even at +2, can't kill my Fezandipity, and if it doesn't Terra, it's taking a massive 4 times effective U-turn. That's fine with me. And if it does Terra, then again, the Azumarill cannot Terra anymore, which is great for me. So here is that Terra, massive weight off my chest for that Azumarill, and now this U-turn only does 11%, but that does reveal this is an offensive Zarude, funny enough. So my Raikou does knock it out with Volt Switch here, so I can just go for it. But he's going to reveal a pretty nice tech here. He has Wakanberry, so absorbs the Volt Switch, and this is going to earn him a KO on this Fezandipity. which means if T-Spikes go up, it's going to be a little bit annoying, but at the end of the day, the only things getting poisoned are my Aloe and Darkrai. So it's really okay. I get that Rocky Helmet chip, and that's going to put Scizor Bullet Punch range, or put the Zarude into Bullet Punch range, even with the resist. Thanos Supreme able to get that done. And now Iron Crown comes in with the Quirk Drive special attack. So I see special attack, I know it's going to be agility, and I also know that this is going to be agility, Calm Mind, dual stab. It could be Focus Blast over Tachyon Cutter, but I more so expect dual stab, which is great because Scizor will live the hits, but also I can just go into my Aloe. Once I see the booster, I know it's not going to be like sub lefties, which is like the super scary set. So I'm just going to go to Aloe. I know the agility is coming, but I don't need to risk a Focus Blast on my Scizor. My Scizor is still very important for that Azu. So here's that agility, here's a Calm Mind, but I do have liquidation for scenes like this. Instead of having to flip turn and then go back to Aloe and flip turn and then go back to Aloe and flip turn, I can just stay in, trade HP here. He's not really in any danger of knocking out my Aloe here, and all I need to do is put this Crown in range of Bullet Punch. And if you look at the rest of the game state, right? Latias in range of Bullet Punch. Cinderace in range of Bullet Punch. Glimmora dies. Azumarill easily 2-hit KO'd and doesn't kill me back. So if this like gets down into Bullet Punch range and like I just sack my Raikou, for example, game's done, right? I just Bullet Punch like 6 times and the game's over, and this is Bullet Punch range here. 28%, he will die. So I'm just going to sack my Raikou here, but he recognizes the situation, knows that he's going to lose the game instantly if that happens. He's going to make a switch to Latias, which is going to be the most resilient path forward, because this Latias potentially can be Scarf. I don't want to sack my Raikou. I'm just going to go back to Aloe farm the regen, right? But he's going to Healing Wish into his Cinderace. And this means that his bulky Cinderace is now full HP to stop my Thanos Supreme Scizor. But at the same time, right, he did all that setup to not take a KO on Iron Crown. So that really is unfortunate for him. He's between a rock and a hard place here. Really nothing that can be done, honestly. Now I switch to Iron Crown on the flip turn, but I can just go to Raikou and Volt Switch for basically a KO. Like nothing wants to take this, and Iron Crown is going to go down. Now here, I'm going to go into my Landorus. At this point, all I really need to do is prevent this Azu from setting up for absolutely free. Because if it is like able to set up and take like only Aloe chip, like a flip turn, then Scizor might not one-hit KO it after the Citrus and Belly Drum. So I would have to like use a Rocky Helmet on that from my Landorus, but that it's still fine. But like this is my my best switch in to prevent that. So Cinderace on Michael, just going to Will-O-Wisp me with a Shuca Berry. So Earthquake going to do basically nothing, but my max defense Lando going to shrug off that Pyro Ball. I'm just going to get a U-turn into Aloe. And as long as I don't have Aloe exactly in versus Azumarill, there's really nothing that can go wrong here. Azu's going to come in on my flip turn. But here, I go Scizor, and I'm able to reveal... I believe this is the first time this move is ever being used in a like Team Tour setting. My Scizor is going to go for the Choice Banded Terra Steel Hard Press.
Oh my god, my dick is hard.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the Rhino Chocolates?
He's literally on Rhino Chocolates right now. And so Hard Press, the way this works
that
is it's
animation
basically...
is crazy, by the
It
way.
is, yeah.
I've never seen that animation.
Yeah, so basically this move, if you don't know what it is, it's reverse water spout. So if the Azu is at like full HP, this does like 120%. And also the way that it scales is if the move kills at full, it will always kill no matter what HP you're at. So if it's at 50%, it'll do like 55, for example. So the combination of Hard Press and Bullet Punch will knock out Cinderace always. So that's the idea here. Like if the Cinderace is the one-time switch in, Hard Press is going to do like 65 from full. And so that means next time it comes in, I can just Bullet Punch and kill everything. So really fun that I was able to use it here to one-hit KO the Azu. Super fun. Now Cinderace in, I can just take super safe lines, Aloe, flip turn. You're going to see U-turn into Glim. Nothing matters at this point. It's just, yeah, game's done.
Formalities.
Mm-hmm. Reflect comes up, prolongs a little bit, you know, T-Spike up, but my Raikou Choice Specs can't go for a Scald here. Knock out a Pokemon. We get a chat log for this game. I mean, the replay is in the DPL server if you want to read all this.
Yeah, I'm curious about
Shakespearean,
like all these
whatever.
messages from a certain Bepsu's butthole. He
Yeah.
seems like a very distinguished individual in the chat.
Yeah.
Look, let's just say that any semblance of a filter I had was taken off for this game, and I think I intentionally tried to see just how disruptive and annoying could I possibly be.
Can we get
Especially-
a narration of like maybe 5 lines in a row or something?
Yeah, actually, scroll up to that one turn. Scroll up a little bit up for me.
The
Up there.
hard
There was a
press
turn where you
turn?
had like maybe a lot of them.
Yeah, like right here, right here. I said it hurts. I shouldn't have taken that Rhino chocolate. It fucking hurts. Too much stimulation.
It's
And
just straight
Fago,
zerking
in
it,
kind,
dude.
responds with Glop. Please, bro, lock in.
Nisto Moron says, "What are these morons on about?"
Yeah. All right, so that's going to be us going up 3-1 in the series now, right? Yeah. So go
Crazy
on
comeback for
to game
Go Villains.
5. Reverse Tracebacks versus ID Cup. This is going to be a Champions game, and we do have another Thanos Supreme. It's going to be the Arcanine this time. As you can see, the only switch into fire moves is that Mudsdale, which is really just a one-time switch in because our Arcanine is, Rockhead Charcoal, which means, yeah, kind of Thanos. Could be physically defensive Quaquaval, but we have a Toxapex, we have a Mega Scizor, we have a Sylveon, plenty of things to deal with that. Okay, let's just get into it. Arcanine, Hisui going to lead off against the Mudsdale, so this is like the only thing that can force us out, really, besides the Quack. So, gonna get a free switch into Crocodile. Now, a double to Sylveon after getting the Intimidate, which means we're no longer threatened by any like heavy slams. So Sylveon able to throw up a Wish in the air, and this is gonna just heal up our Croak that took damage earlier. So basically, all our Pokemon are at full HP still. A little bit of shuffling for position. Clefable comes in, able to get the Mega off, as this is going to allow us to switch into the Arcanine as rocks go up. And now, gonna get that Charcoal Flare Blitz going. 50% on the Mudsdale reveals it to be physically defensive with leftovers. So I'm gonna switch out into our Sylveon. No longer have to fear that max attack heavy slam, really. So Earthquake gonna come out, and we can just go for that Hyper Voice. Is a 2-hit KO on the Mudsdale, but this is going to leave our Sylveon kind of low, unfortunately. But crucially, Mudsdale is now, dead to Arcanine. So we've unlocked our Arcanine at the cost of our Sylveon, basically. As Aegislash going to come in. I'm going to pivot into the Greninja on the Poltergeist, which does 50%, reveals our Choppleberry. And now threatening a Dark Pulse as Slowking comes in, and Slowking is disgusting because it can actually just switch into that. It's like, what the hell, dude? Shout out J Ricky, but Sludge Bomb is gonna 1v1 our Greninja, but Slowking is crucially low now. So Crocodile can come in. There's a Clef that can come in, so Regenerator, but just gonna sack the Mudsdale instead. Catches a Gunk Shot, which is a nice play from ID Cup. Would have 2-hit KO'd the Clefable, but now gonna double to Clefable on the Rocks turn. So ID Cup making resilient plays. Gonna force out into the Arcanine as the Moonblast comes out. It's 32, which is quite a lot. But, the Flare Blitz is coming. Mudsdale will be sacked off. Quaquaval, gonna be the revenge, but we do have a full HP Toxapex. Really no problem here. Aqua Step only doing 15%. And here we see a bulk up, but really not the end of the world, as we do have the Haze. Now, gonna get that regen into Scizor now that this Quaquaval is at neutral. See a bulk up, but Scizor, really not too threatened here by the +1 Quaquaval. You see it only does 35%. I'm gonna go for a dual wing beat. Does 31 on the first hit, 65 on the next hit. While the crit is helpful, it was always 2-hit KOing anyways. Just means we can go for a bullet punch rather than having to roost off the next hit. Potentially playing around with that. Now Volcarona comes in and we sack our Scizor. I feel like could have just gone to our Toxapex there, right? It's full HP. This is kind of what it's here for.
Right.
Especially once the Quack goes down. This is really the only thing you need the Toxapex for. And having that Scizor around is quite useful into stuff like the Slowking, into the Aegislash.
Well, it is, but at any point, if you get a KO with the Scizor, I feel like that could give setup opportunity to the Aegislash. Maybe that's not the end of the world, because I think Crocodile is still relatively healthy, but...
Yeah. I'm not sure...
I guess I think he was just trying to hard cover a Rock Quiver Dance, because that could be a little bit problematic,
Yeah, I'm
right? It makes
pretty
Toxapex's
sure
job harder.
our Scizor had ways of touching the Aegislash, and I think you just win that 1v1. But
Essentially.
at any rate, this is where we are. Toxapex's going to come in. on the +1 Volcarona. You can see +1 Psychic come out, does 51, but the J Ricky gives us back up to 61 as we go for the Haze, get rid of that special attack boost. But now another Psychic coming out would have 2-hit KO'd, so the recover is forced. And now we see a Quiver Dance as the Toxapex goes for the Liquidation. Does 48%, so it could be a roll to 2-hit KO. We're going to see a Morning Sun fishing for that Flame Body burn, but instead going to catch a defense drop. So Volcarona going to go for another Morning Sun, again fishing for that Flame Body, but Liquidation doing 72, way too much damage, and now another defense drop. So now even if you Morning Sun, there's danger of it killing from full. So going to switch out into Slowking. Liquidation twice. Slowking can't really kill Toxapex from here, so just a Chilly Reception out. Back into the Volcarona, right? But crucially, the snow is now up, so the Morning Suns are kind of cupped. So ID Cup going to stall out his own snow by switching back to the Slowking. So another Liquidation comes out. Go for another Liquidation. At this point, running somewhat low on Liquidations, only 5 left, but another Chilly Reception, get that regen back into Volcarona, and you can make this sequence one more time. As Slowking going to come in, but that Liquidation 23, so this Slowking, it could be a roll. We saw lower rolls doing 19. Let's see. And Slowking does survive on 1 HP, gets that final Chilly back into the Volk. And so now, can just go for that Morning Sun.
Like, we did all this to stall the Liquidations, right?
Yeah,
so,
there's
like,
only 3 left.
We should Morning Sun here, right? Like, that was the whole point, right?
100%, 100%. Morning Sun is correct here. But ID Cup forgets, and instead is going to get high roll by Liquidation.
Which, I mean, even if you didn't Morning Sun there, you could literally just go back to Slowking one final time, and then you could go to Aegislash. Now it only has 1. Then the Morning Sun is safe with the Volcarona, and you're fine. But...
You could even like Slowking pivot to Clef, right? Clef at full HP is not super important here. You probably value it over the Aegislash HP. But yeah, sacking that definitely super unfortunate for ID Cup. But Clefable is now going to come in, fires off a Psychic of its own, so everything having coverage for this Toxapex, but a Poison Jab going to come out, chips down the Clefable, and now we're just going to sack our Sylveon. Says, hey, a no-item Toxapex, probably a little bit more useful into the Aegislash, just because Poltergeist, you can't hit it. But now Arcanine does get its safe switch in. Clefable is in range of the Overheat here. So Slowking is going to be the sack off, but the reveal, Morning Sun, means that Arcanine is now no longer going to be in Shadow Sneak range. And if we switch out, we can switch it on rocks again. So catches the Slowking sack with the Flare Blitz. Now Clefable back in. I think ID Cup just gives up here. Knocks it out, and Aegislash, I mean, he can't live either. Knocks it out. Crit did not matter in the slightest. And reverse Tracebacks with a win here. That's going to bring us up 4-1 in the series. Looking good. Clinches the tie. And now we go on.
I do think, even if he didn't call the sack and go for the Morning Sun, he probably still had win path, because I believe Crook can threaten the Clefable with Gunk Shot. And then there are worlds where Toxapex can 1v1 the Slowking, maybe just with a PP stall, because it doesn't look like it had Psychic move. We never saw it go for that once, right? The Slowking?
The Slowking, no. I think in this matchup, you really want to have Sludge Bomb and Flamethrower on it. So the last move could be a little bit of a toss-up. Really not too sure, but evidently not a Psychic move. And also not Slack Off. You would have clicked that versus the Pex 100%. So it really is a mystery for Slay the Spiker to know and for us to wonder. Champs solved by Scovillains? Probably, right? Alright. Now we have Theo versus Hex. And now this game, I mean, this one, really tough to bring Theo's signature stall into that Mega Lopunny, the Spike Stack from Samurott, as well as Spin Block from Sinistra. Really don't have the tools to wall out his team. So instead, Theo gonna opt for an offensive game plan. We have stuff like Scarf Aerodactyl, I believe, on this base. We have Shell Smash Blastoise. We have, Swords Dance, Mold Breaker, Tinkaton to get through the multi-scale Dragonite, stuff like that. So you'll see a lot of things that Theo's going to throw at Hex for Hex to solve, basically. So Gallade going to lead off into the Excadrill. Drill, pretty scary offensively, so just going to take the trade here. Goes for the Drain Punch into the Focus Sash lead, but goes for an Earthquake, so crucially rocks are not going up here. So Drain Punch knocks out the Excadrill. I think Theo's pretty happy with that, with no rocks, and taking that trade on the Excadrill with the Gallade. Totally fine. Now Lopunny's going to come in. and the Gallade is just going to stay in and die to a U-turn. Yeah, this basically reveals to Hex that this Slowbro is not max defense, not willing to try to switch into the Lopunny. So yeah, the Gallade goes down. Now Tinkaton in on the Dragonite, just going to go for a Swords Dance. The Dragonite goes for an Earthquake, but we are that Shuka Berry to allow this setup to happen. 64 is so much damage. What the fuck? 64? That's crazy. But
That
now
is kind of wild.
Hex sees the writing on the wall. He sees he has to lose a Pokemon to this play rough. So Theo trading 1-for-1 twice in a row, but now the Lopunny once again able to revenge kill. And now the Slowbro going to hit the field. See a U-turn, and that's going to be into Samurott Hisui. So we get the Trick Room up, goes for a massive Sludge Bomb, and we do have the Colbur Berry to enable the stay in one time at least. But now Theo wants to play around the Sucker Punch, going to switch out to the Garchomp. Does he catch it? He does catch the Sucker Punch. Now Garchomp, with the leftovers, should be able to live any hit from the Samurott. You see 57, and again, we're trading 1-for-1, but this time the Trick Room's up. So Lopunny, not as easy to revenge, but still going to be able to fake out to stall out the last turn of Trick Room. This does mean it's going to take 2 turns of Rough Skin, though, which is important for stuff like our Arrow, and potentially even like our Blastoise. Knocking it out. But okay, knocks that out.
Virgie wants to know how Dragonite died in 1. Was that Moldbreaker Tinkaton?
Yeah, it gets through the multi-scale. Now Aerodactyl comes in. Hex just gonna stay in here, doesn't really have a great switch in, and if he's faster he gets off a big CC. So Dual Wing Beat does outspeed though and knocks out that. So now Hatterene's gonna come in as Theo gonna make the switch into the Slowbro. The Hatterene is going to go for a Trick Room of its own, and Hatterene is actually 1 base speed slower than Slowbro. So if they are both minus speed, the Hatterene will now outspeed in Trick Room, and goes for the Shadow Ball, knocks out our Slowbro. Now here Aerodactyl comes in. There's 3 turns of Trick Room. Here's a Psychic, is a 2-hit KO, but here is the crucial turn of the battle. You see the Psychic is a 2-hit KO, but it's a little bit of a bait here, because if Hex goes for that next Psychic, knocks out our Arrow, well, now Blastoise hits the field with 1 Trick Room turn remaining. Here, let me do this so you can see there's 2 turns remaining of the Trick Room. If Arrow goes down here, Theo can just go for a Shell Smash, and then what happens is you get actually no, I'm thinking about this backwards, right? Am I trying to make sure I'm explaining this right?
No, if you Psychic here,
so you get the Shell Smash on the last turn of Trick Room, and then you have that +2 Blastoise will knock out Hatterene, but it's debatable on if it will knock out the Sinistcha. So that depends on the Sinistcha set, right? So if the Sinistcha is like Yache Berry Matcha Gotcha, Hex could very well just make the Psychic play, and that's totally reasonable. But what else could happen is the Hatterene could go for something like the Shadow Ball, 2-hit KO the Arrow instead of Oko, and then when Blastoise comes in, you reset the Trick Room, and then that's completely game over. Really doesn't matter what the sets are at that point. So that's something that Hex could go for, but Theo has counterplay to that. Can go to the Blastoise on that Shadow Ball, and then now you have that Blastoise versus Hatterene situation. But even better, you have the Aerodactyl in the back, able to, follow up with a Dual Wing Beat if the Sinistcha is able to live the +2 hit from Blastoise. So that's the situation here. Theo gonna stay in on the Draining Kiss and Dual Wing Beat, and so Hex gets the play right, is going to knock out the Arrow this turn. Theo not gonna sack it, but the same situation happens where the Blastoise comes in. Can't really set up here because the Trick Room is getting reset. And so Blastoise is able to 1v1 this Hatterene, but at the end of the day, the Trick Room up, the Sinistcha, even Nightshade, right? 100% accurate will knock out the 2 Pokemon. So, there we go. Could be White Herb. I doubt it gets back to full off 1 Draining Kiss. Well, you would set up and the drop would be after the Draining Kiss, right?
Wait.
So it wouldn't matter.
He went, can you go back? He went to Blastoise on the Hatterene, right?
Yeah, on the last Draining Kiss.
During the Trick Room? Let me see this.
At this point, the game was always over.
Well, is there a reason we don't set up here? Does the +2 not kill?
Trick Room's going back up.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
So what he had to do is switch on this turn. If this turn you go to Blastoise, I think you just win the game. But Theo
Oh.
calls the 50-50 wrong, unfortunately, and that is going to be the game.
Yeah.
I say 50-50, it's not so much a 50-50 as it is like, if Psychic is clicked as Blastoise comes in, it's a roll to 2-hit KO, but it's a roll in our favor. So like, if they get the roll or a crit or a drop, game's done, but
Well, you probably have to go
play into
for it.
that. Yeah, you do.
I think you have to play for it, even though because you don't have information on Sinistcha. If you had information on Sinistcha, it's a different game.
Yeah,
But you
or like
don't,
if the Sinistra's
so-
at like 70%,
Right.
then it's like much more reasonable to stay in. But regardless, Hex wins that end game, and it's going to bring the series to 4-2. But now we have the 34-year-old himself, Grumper.
Look at that little suit. Bro, it was funny because I was on Showdown and I was trying to find a funny avatar of somebody that looked like they were 34, but my avatars weren't loading, so I was just clicking random squares, and then I settled on this guy, and I was like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, he's
So,
tough.
going up against Double A Panda, certainly one of the most creative minds in Draft League in the current moment. So, his
Our
team,
generation, even.
perhaps. His team is kind of chopped, I can't lie. It's a bunch of weird setup guys. So on the bench for him is a Tapu Lele and something that's completely irrelevant. I don't remember what it is, but it's bad. And then on my end, of course, I'm benching the Spiritomb, and then I actually benched Nihilego here. And my thought process was like, between Garchomp and Keldeo, and then Scizor avenging you with Bullet Punch, it just felt like it doesn't get a lot of entry points and opportunities. So having Sneasel in the back was honestly more valuable, specifically for the Garchomp. Ice Shard picks off weakened Aerodactyl, weakened Sceptile, picks off Garchomp. So I just thought that overall it'd be a more valuable piece to bring. And yeah, we can just jump into it. I'm going to lead off with Tapu Fini here. Just a nice way to like set up terrain, deny any kind of status attempts by him. And just has a favorable matchup into basically all of his team. So I'm going to go ahead and rip a Surf here. He's going to reveal to be max HP Aerodactyl. I'm just going to take my KO at this point, get the Surf off here. This is going to allow him a nice entry point here for the Raikou as I'm going to respond with the Zygarde. I mean, it should basically beat all Raikous. As he goes for the Calm Mind, this is a sequence I didn't really see in Mock, so kind of had to like theory craft on the fly as to what to do. So I go for the first coil, which I feel like is correct because I know that Scald doesn't 3-hit KO me. But then here I would say, a really big blunder. I decided to coil again. And the reason this is stupid is because in the moment, I was trying to account for, because I don't want to assume information, right? I was trying to account for both like Shuka and weakness policy. And so originally I was like, oh, well, if I attack into a weakness policy on this turn that I coil, then he kills me with the next Scald. But the thing that I wasn't considering, or the thing that I got wrong in my head, is I was basically treating it like he was Shuka and weakness policy at the same time. And obviously you can't be two items. So I was basically saying he gets +2 special attack and he takes no damage at all. So just kind of a weird mix up there in my head, not really in the game quite yet. So I go for the second coil. I was also just kind of feeling like, dude, you won't Scald burn me when the train goes down, right? Like surely that won't happen. Arrgh. You hate to see it happen, but it
The
happens.
water
Scald
is
does the best.
so fucking hot.
It's way too hot. So he is going to be Sugar Berry, meaning I do fucking piss damage. And at this point, I basically recognize, yeah, this shit doesn't do anything anymore. May as well just get off my chip. And then it's right here. It was only this turn in the battle that I realized, wait a minute, Tapu Lele didn't even come to this game. So my Mew is basically completely useless because it's specifically dedicated to beat Tapu Lele. So I was like, I may as well try to just get up a T-Spike here, because if I can put Garchomp and Keldeo on a timer, that's incredibly valuable for me. And just based on the way he's playing his team, I can tell it's not going to be a defensive defog Scizor in the back. So importantly, the speed we had for Tapu Lele actually allows me to get the jump on Raikou. And this is pretty significant because it means I get off a Poison Jab in the subsequent turn. And then he actually gets a pretty low roll on Thunderbolt. I had a good amount of Spadef, but I think it was in his favor to get the 2-shot. But Jay Ricky, looking out for me in my moment of need, able to provide me with enough healing to survive the second Thunderbolt, and we're able to effectively trade with the Raikou, which is nice. Going to make the game into a 4-on-4. I'm going to put Celesteela on the field just because it has favorable matchups into everything else. But seeing as Keldeo comes out, don't want to take a Specs Water move. Just going to pull that switch into the Tapu Fini. And here's a really safe position for me to go ahead and just rip a Calm Mind, because I know if Scizor comes in, it's most likely going to be an Aqua Berry, the way it's been played. And I know that my Surf always 2-shots max HP Scizor. I do get a crit here, but as you can see, it did 74, which tells you that it should be doing around 49%, which means it's very likely in my favor to get the 2-hit KO with the Surf. So I'm able to get a little bit of healing here with the classic Lop, Leftovers Protect, able to give me more healing and then get the kill with Surf in the following turn. And I'm in a really commanding position here with Fini. He's going to go into Sceptile. And at this point, I don't need Fini to win the game. So I just feel like ripping a Draining Kiss is always a safe play, because what it allows me to do is it allows me to actually heal up the Fini rack up some additional toxic damage. I could just sack off Fair Thorn at this point because I don't really need it for anything. He's gonna go for
No,
Thunder
not
Punch.
Fiend.
Fiend, unfortunately, Fiend has to go down, but Fiend came prepared. He's got the Chipotle Berry, able to live that low kick very comfortably, might I add, and pick it off in return with the Gyro Ball. And now Fiend is going to be death fodder here for the Secret Sword, but because I forced out the fighting move, it's going to allow Fiend to come right back in. I can actually live 2 from the range that I'm at. It's going to allow me to go, once again, go for the Calm Mind, because the only way Garchomp kills me from 60% is if it's like Life Orb Poison Jab. And if that's what you are, then Sneasel just owns your life, right? So he goes for the Swords Dance here. It reveals to be pretty much max HP, max BDF Garchomp, able to really comfortably take, because mind you, I have special attack investment. He takes that Draining Kiss really fucking well. Able to go for another Draining Kiss here. And then I understand this, like this turn looks weird, but it makes a lot of sense. He goes for Substitute. I think he was trying to catch me going for Protect to put myself out of range of the Earthquake. But realistically, with the information that I have, this game is 100% won. I guess I can reveal since the Spikers are out, but I'm Scarf Celesteela in the back, right? So all I have to do is keep the Garchomp low, and then Scarf Air Slash just cleans up the game with the Beast Boost. So for him, he's trying to catch what he thinks is my only out. For me, I'm just playing to my guaranteed win path. So I'm able to go ahead and go for the Protect once more, live on that 6%, shoutouts, leftovers, Protect. Able to wrap up the game with a 3-0 win in Scovillain's favor.
Booyah. And this is going to clinch the week for us. A really crucial win against Slay the Spiker. We've now won 3 weeks in a row, which means that even after our like historically bad start, pre-mids, we're now like in the playoff race well and truly. So this means that next week, all we have to do is tie or better, and we guarantee a playoff spot. But there is one more game left in the series, so we'll go ahead and briefly cover that before we move on to the next one. All right, it's going to be Berna versus Logice, Gen 7, Kyurem Mirror. Here we go. All right, Kyurem Black is going to lead for Logice as we lead Mew. Instantly just going to rip a Will-O-Wisp. Really neuters Kyurem in this matchup. Really relies on its physical attacks to break through our team, like the Primarina and the Mew. But we miss the Will-O-Wisp turn 1, and they rip a Z Freeze Shock and bring our Mew down to 7%. So that's awesome. Now we have to Roost. Like, we do like live the Kyurem turn, but crucially, it gets out of there without getting burned, which yeah, definitely sucks. Now Jirachi's going to come in. We Wisp the Jirachi as Jirachi goes for a Toxic on our Mew, so fair trade. A little bit chip on both of the Psychic types. And now Mew just going to switch to the Donphan. Pretty safe play as U-turn comes out into the Kyurem Black. And now I just go into our Mew, absorb that Ice Beam, threaten the Wisp, get a Roost off potentially. But Logice stays in aggressively, goes for the Fusion Bolt, does 31%. Again, not a whole lot, but it is keeping the Mew low. And now a switch to Jirachi catches the Will-O-Wisp, so getting a few plays right in a row there leaves the Mew down at 25%. So the next time the Kyurem comes in, it is going to be looking like a KO, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Then the very next turn catches the U-turn, and now Mew just going to be sacked off. And this wouldn't really have to be the case if this Kyurem was burned, but here Primarina comes in, goes for a Scarf Moonblast, but that's crucially not going to KO. We usually didn't have a Pokemon that O-code outside of our own Kyurem, which going for the Speed tie there, maybe not the most advisable, right? So Primarina comes in.
Important to note, this Kyurem's been on the field for more than 4 turns, so if the Will-O-Wisp had landed turn 1, it would have easily been in range of the Moonblast at that point. Yeah.
They're just unlucky, right? Kyurem on Kyurem now to revenge. Say, hey, we don't really have a whole lot else available. We need to get something done. Then Iron heads into Jirachi, trying to catch the Diancie switch in. So Logice's just getting every turn right, it seems. Another U-turn on the switch. This time catches a Rocky Helmet, but now Salazzle hits the field. We do have an AV Donphan, so able to just go to that. But Overheat, that means that Donphan now is into a KO range for the Diancie, for the Landorus, all sorts of things. And now Landorus itself going to come in and Rocky Helmet, physically defensive Michael, going to lay the rocks up and get some Rocky Helmet chip. Now, should be see a spin here, so denies the rocks, but yeah, Donphan is basically dead for that. You see a U-turn, back to the Landorus. Yeah, should be able to just spam spin here, but goes for a high horsepower. I'm assuming this is trying to catch like a switch to Diancie because spin is so obvious there, but really should be just spinning there.
Correct.
So
spin into Ice Shard probably would have killed as well. So
yeah, so unlucky. Berna definitely behind this game, trying to get like maybe a choke play there. which is reasonable enough, right? Now Manabuzz comes in, forces out our Greninja into Skarmory with that helmet chip onto the Manabuzz. But at this point, it's 5-3 with Salazzle on the field. Goes for another overheat, knocks out our Skarm. At this point, it's Greninja versus the world. Kyurem comes in for a KO, basically. Jirachi's so low. Kyurem is at 24. Don't really have a switch into this Z move, so gonna go for that never-ending Nightmare. Oko's at Kyurem at 24. Max roll. But now DNC can come in. We don't have a Moonblast switch in, of course. So now, a Greninja versus 4 Pokemon is faster than all of them, but maybe it's Scarf Salazzle? I don't know. But Manabuzz should be able to live any hit, and Firefly U-Turn should bring us into Life Orb range pretty soon. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Game's done. So, although Berna did lose this one, we still won the week, so...
No, just know a guy like Toxic would have won this battle. He would have ripped fucking Life Orb Blizzard. He would have hit and crit the Manabuzz.
Oh,
and he would
okay.
have
firing shots for some reason.
Firing shots.
There's another diss track in order if we like match up into huge power. Who's to say?
Only time will tell.
Who's to say? All right, next series. This is going to be Nature's Guardians versus the Judgment Day. Now, Judgment Day really needs a win here to stay in the playoff race, but Nature's Guardians, they're also looking for that win to stay in the playoff race. A tie would do it for them, you know, still puts them in range, like in striking distance, but a win would go a huge distance for either one of these teams, so expect them to be going all out in the prep here. So, Void of Darkness here, going to be rocking the Terra Steel Great Tusk. Now, Terra Steel here is going to mean that you have an advantageous matchup into stuff like the Terrapagos, the Cresselia, crucially, and the Weavile. You take away Weavile's ability to hit you super effectively outside of Low Kick, which is unlikely in this matchup. But yeah, resist the Starstorm, all that stuff. Other Terra types, let's see. Are they just benched Terra types? Double check. Yeah, it's a Terra Thundurus on the bench. So yeah, on the other side, Manu going to be having that Terra Ogerpon and Terra Cresselia, which is going to be Terra Poison. Alright. But yeah, let's get into the game. Game 1 here. Roaring Moon going to lead off into the Wellspring, potentially threatening a U-turn. So, you'll see a switch to Tinkaton. Instead catches an Outrage. Now, I think you only make that Outrage play if you are Choice Banded on this Roaring Moon, as that would just one-shot the Wellspring, take it out of the game. And if that does happen, you're probably happy trading your Moon for that, because the Tinkaton would come in and play her off afterwards, but still, fair trade for you. But Tinkaton comes onto the field for free, so there should just be free rocks or a knockoff, something of the sort. It's going to be a Gigaton Hammer instead, though, so Void gets away with that into the Araquanid for very little cost. Now, the Ogerpon can come in here as webs go up, and it's going to immediately Terra just to avoid that bug weakness. So a Leech Life is going to get clicked as Swords Dance comes out. Now, this Ogerpon is actually going to reveal only to be Ivy Cudgel. You don't really have like Horn Leech or anything, or at least you're not willing to click it this turn. But now a Synthesis, Arachnid's going to Leech Life up, but you have to imagine Ogerpon's going to win this one eventually. Here's that Ivy Cudgel, brings the Arachnid very low. It's Custap, you could see something. Oh, Custap out of range now. Another Synthesis, another Leech Life. Can't synth up to full here, so running kind of low on Synthesises here. I say that, you still have 5, should be plenty. Now, Ivy Cudgel is a roll from there, but you know, is going to kill. Now, Roaring Moon comes in to revenge, but again, we have that Tinkaton. This time it's +2, a little bit more reasonable to just rip the Outrage. You want to at least force it out of the field, but now Tinkaton once again comes in, another opportunity for rocks if you want to take it. Do we see it? Maybe a knockoff. There's the rocks finally going up. Metagross comes in, going to rock a Choice Banded Heavy Slam as the Foul Play comes out. So a little bit of HP trade on the Steel types. None of them really able to check anything defensively anymore. But I think more important is the Tinkaton going down, because this does open up that Roaring Moon in a really big way. Right? Whereas Metagross, I mean, it's able to 1-for-1 trade versus a lot of stuff, but you don't really need it defensively in the same way that Manu needs this Tinkaton.
I was about to ask if the Crest was Terra because I already forgot that the Ogerpon turd.
It was Terra Poison, but I can't click it anymore.
Annoying. It looks annoying to remove, to be honest. Right, with Metagross being so low, like your only real damage into it otherwise is going to be the Roaring Moon, which Manu's been able to play around. So
Yeah, and here Tinkaton is just going to get sacked off as Terapagos is the revenge, potentially looking for a spin here, get rid of the webs as the Weber is now dead. And if Metagross stays in to break the shell, you get the spin off. It's probably just a fair trade there. Or you could just rip an Earth Power, right? Kills the Metagross, you are boot, so you're faster, but also catches a Petron on the switch. So here is that Petron on the switch trying to deny the Rapid Spin, but the Earth Power is clicked, the safe mid ground. But the J-Ricky Citrus Berry is going to keep his Petron out of 2 KO range, crucially. And now Petron able to go for that Malignant Chain, breaks the shell, fishing for a Toxic, potentially even a Confusion. Yes, the Confusion, but not the full Confusion, right? Earth Power is going to get a Spadef drop. It really feels like the plan there was to just spam Recover once you get the Toxic off, and the Terapagos will either hit itself or, you know, or at least you block the spin guaranteed, right? Because it's only doing 50. You can recover that off. But here the Spadef drop is a really big deal. Means that this Petron, you can't really in good faith go for the recovery here. It's really low chance that the full Confusion goes off. So instead, we're going to see the tech come out, the Curse. Going to self-KO the Petrunt, but crucially, this Terapagos is going to take a huge amount of residual damage, all the way down to 42%, which means that it no longer can spin on stuff like the I guess it can spin on the Metagross and the Mesprit because of the boots, but it can't stay in on this Roaring Moon, for example. Now, Ogerpon actually just going to get sacked off here to the Knockoff. So Knockoff, pretty important here, means that you're not locked into the Outrage and not forced to be removed by the Weavile. So can save it for a rainy day. Metagross going to be the sack here. If you see like a an Ice move, can get off a Banded Bullet Punch there, so it makes sense. But now Great Tusk comes in, will be Terra Stealing, potentially setting up in the face of this Cresselia switch in, and there is the Bulk Up. Now Bulk Up Terra Steel, Cresselia could go for a T-Wave, something of the sort, but Void can reveal the Taunt here, which means the Cresselia is completely homeless against this Great Tusk. We're going to see it pivot out into Garchomp as we see a Rapid Spin. Maybe would have loved to see a Heavy Slam there, because it feels like you don't need the Rocks Gone. What does the Rocks even do? Whereas just taking a KO
just be
there.
trying to speed boost past Weavile or something.
But what do you need the speed really for? Maybe the Terapagos you want to be faster than? But you're not Okoing the... I guess you are Okoing the Terap at 42. So yeah, I guess I can see the spin there.
There's a chance if you're no speed Great Tusk that you'd be still slower than Garchomp even after webs, right?
Maybe, yeah. So that's for him to know. But I can see the vision on spin there. But now you get the leftovers. Garchomp in. Heavy Slam does 53%. So, but Earth Power, crucially, a really good tech for Manu to have in this situation, right? Earth Power hits the Great Tusk on the special side, ignores that +1 defense boost, and it's going to put really big damage on it. You are still able to get a KO with a Heavy Slam here, it looks like, but crucially, you're not going to have to sack your entire team to this. Now it's at 31 after leftovers. See Cresselia come in, takes 32%, but here at -1 Spadef, maybe you want to reset and come back in later with a Healing Wish, but instead you Rapid Spin, I think, which is definitely head scratching, right? What's the point of Rapid Spin there?
Maybe like the only thing I can think of is like maybe like he thinks he's taking a T-Wave or something, but you could taunt.
You could taunt, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing on that one.
Yeah, so unfortunately the desk has no analysis to give on that one, as we see a Lunar Dance go off, aggressively like ignoring the taunt, and Void doesn't click it. So now with a Lunar Dance in the air, you can give this to the Terapagos or the Garchomp. When I was looking at this one live, I really expected this Healing Wish to go into Terapagos, get that shell back, but instead Manu's going to elect to go into the Garchomp. So it brings Garchomp back up to full. You are threatening the Earth Power here, so Roaring Moon going to pivot back in. Only takes 27, and now threatening a kill here with the Outrage, but instead goes for a Knockoff, which is instantly game losing, as this allows a Swords Dance from Weavile. So here is that Swords Dance. You're going to see Knockoff stay in, but I mean, that's not even a 2-hit KO after losing the item. And now Ice Shard guaranteed kills that, and then Knockoff is going to wrap up the game, as this Mesprit is not Colbur Berry. So Yeah, could have clicked Outrage in that scene, denied the Sword Stance opportunity, but looking at the game state, I think it was still pretty chopped for Void. I think Manu was still
Yeah,
like,
I think
heavily
Chomp-
favored.
I think Chomp at full was like kind of
Yeah.
Exactly.
anyway.
You're never going to be able to get all the turns you need with Tusk to actually mount the comeback.
I agree, Vergi. Taunt would have been nice to stop the Lunar Dance. Why didn't they just bring Taunt? Silly, silly Judgment Day. And it is worth mentioning that this series
Eddie
really...
says Crest had no attacking moves.
I know,
in the
yeah.
chat. Oh my god.
It's worth noting this really is like a must-win series for the Judgment Day. So, like, blundering a game like that, game one, really can't feel good.
Wait, if you actually go back, if Crest is no attacking move, didn't you literally just win off taunt? Am I missing something?
You literally
Yeah,
swept
like-
the game.
Like
Instantly.
nothing.
The thing is, like,
didn't
Rapid
happen?
Spin also didn't gain anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know why he didn't go for the Rapid Spin.
Hmm.
Wow, the game
Maybe
was
he needed, like, +2 to be faster than Weavile or some shit. I
But
don't
you're
know.
+1 defense.
+1 defense. What does
Yeah,
it
I
kill
mean,
you with?
I'm trying to find something.
He's grasping at straws per chance.
Keep looking. Keep looking.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great game.
This was fantastic to watch live, I'm not gonna lie. Really enjoyed this one. So
Oh, this
you guys
was a
are in for a
crazy
treat.
game, yeah. Like,
Can we watch it from the hero's POV?
I already started in
yeah.
Trick of Vi POV. I
Ah.
want to keep it consistent for the stream. But
Fair enough.
yeah. We see Mega Lopunny versus Mega Delphox. Two heavy hitting offensive megas, and you're gonna see like this
actually
is just
love-
a masterpiece.
I think this team that Gypsy's using, I think this is my favorite champions draft I've seen all tour. This I just feel like
Dude.
I do not fuck with champions, but if I had this team, I would probably enjoy it.
Yeah, when I had to play this, it felt so impossible. Like every mock that I was winning was like just barely, and I was having to do acrobatics to like even stay close. And then you get to the game with like actual prep. I'm just Sub-Zero. He got me. But here
Wait,
up against
hold on.
Brian also having a pretty competent champions draft, so it should be a good one.
So, Glove, Virgie in the chat says his girlfriend is on the screen right now. Do you think he's talking about Delphox or Lopunny? Which one?
I think he's talking about Brian.
Brian. Yeah, I think he's talking about
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure Delphox is my girlfriend, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
get
I mean,
set
that leaves
Bro, are
Lopunny
you,
for
are
him.
you cheating on Ndidi? The hell?
let's set the record straight. And Didi and I
Indeedee is his wife, and then Delphox is
Correct.
like the side hoe.
exactly. My mistress. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, let's get into it. Now, the worst thing about this game has already happened, and that's moderated chat was set.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that
hate
is
these
criminal
guys.
because this game as it went on would have
Dude,
had some.
The
some
crowd
bangers
would
in
have
the
been
chat.
going wild, but okay. Delphox versus Scizor lead, great for Gypsy, immediately forces out the Scizor. But there is a Slowking, so not the end of the world for Brian. We see the Mega Evolve and go for a Wisp. Loki, we might have to switch the sides because there is actually a Delphox sprite. So let's switch sides
Oh, is
here.
it bugged on the back?
Yeah. So here a Wisp comes out, but the Slowking avoids it. But another Wisp comes out, just staying in aggressively on the Chili reception, catches that turn perfectly, and now a Chili out into Lopunny. But Lopunny comes in, this Delphox looks to be quite bulky, so able to just stay in and not fear anything, and goes for a Hex, expecting
Great
the
call.
U-turn. Saying, hey, if you're going to stay in, it's probably to fake out anyways, so my turn doesn't matter. And if you're staying in, you're not clicking like Mega Kick to trade instantly to Psychic. You're going to see a U-turn
think-
into the Slowking. So really great play.
a set like this really shows the versatility of Delphox, especially like in this champions metagame, because like we're so used to seeing things like subplot or just plot 3 attacks, right? But like a set like this can really just afford to win slowly over time, because a lot of times the response is going to be the bulky waters, usually being one of the slow twins. So having Hex is just an amazing call. Great prep by Gypsy.
All right. Gas up the mistress. Okay.
No, it's facts.
And
bro.
this is
It's
going
just
to
facts.
instantly force out the Slowking. You can't stay in here in good conscience. Back to the Lopunny. But Gypsy calls that, goes for a Mystical Fire. It gets 50% off on the Lopunny. Is a 2-hit KO.
Yeah, as a newcomer to the scene, like I've been told stories about Prime Gypsy, and like here's where I understood, like, wow, maybe he is a genius, Like,
Yeah, here another U-turn comes out. Slowking comes in, this time on a Dazzling Gleam, which is a little bit of a mid-ground, would have covered the Lopunny, and, if a switch to Slowking does come, it's still in Hex range, so you still have that threat of a KO. Brian should be regenerating this off back to Lopunny, but does Gypsy call it? This time, Brian does get the upper hand, calls the Hex on the Lopunny. So yeah, it's going both ways here. Now Corviknight comes in on, this time, the Fake Out, and this should mean that Corviknight able to go for a U-turn, reclaim momentum, as the Lopunny is forced out into the Slowking. And now, once again, Slowking could potentially be in Hex range, but this time, Gypsy gonna elect to go to the Mamoswine, saying, hey, this Slowking is probably especially defensive from that damage. My Mamoswine's threatening a KO here, I could potentially get Rocks Up. And Rocks Up is gonna mean this Delphox is even scarier. Here it forces out the Slowking with the threat of knockoff, and there are the rocks. So Scizor is at Defog. We're gonna see here. Here's a knockoff just revealing defensive Defog Scizor. So Brian was prepared for the rocks Mamoswine, and should be able to defog them up, completely for free. Here, just go for a Bullet Punch is going to easily Twitgear the Mamoswine, except for the J-Ricky Citrus Berry. So now I'm going to see a little bit of a song and dance here. See the rocks go up on the Defogger. Earthquake is a Twitgear there, so the Roost is forced, but now can go for the Defog. And probably just see a Roost here. I think Brian has a click for everything Gypsy wants to go for. Goes for the Roost here, probably just Roost again. But this time goes for the Bullet Punch as rocks go up.
It might seem like he's fighting a losing exchange, but the thing is,
I think he
every
is.
time rocks are well, he is, but every time rocks are put on the field and roosts are forced, like you do get like 3 chances to attack. So on the off chance you do just rip a crit, you would not only keep up rocks, you'd also kill the Scizor. You'd probably just instantly win the game.
Probably, yeah.
So I think in his mind, like he knows that like long term, Mamoswine never really wins this exchange, especially with Bullet Punch. So he's probably like, okay, I may as well play out the sequences over the next couple turns, such that on the off chance I get lucky, I actually just make irremovable progress and instantly win the game. So I kind of understand what he's doing, because like Mamoswine doesn't really get a lot of other.
There's that angle to it, but also I feel like forcing these defog turns is really valuable to get that Delphox in. You've seen how hard it is for Brian to respond to it consistently. So
True.
using those defog forces, and then you don't have to even give up health on your Mamoswine, right? Yeah. You just go to your Delphox on the defog turn, and then you're ripping like a Mystical Fire or a Hex. Like Hex is really safe to click there because the Scizor's needed, and like what else are you switching to besides the Slowking?
A smart man like L5 says, get the entry point for Delphox. Emotional man like me says, get the fucking crit, win the game. You know
yeah. But here, Gypsy like does some kind of magic trick here and gets Delphox in versus Scizor with rocks up. Like, how did he do that?
Yeah, this is like his dream. And crucially, it's like I don't know about the rules, but it's possible that like 2 BPs would kill Delphox. So like he also avoids that.
I don't think so.
You know?
It's defensive Scizor, and I think this Delphox is quite bulky. But
okay.
I think really Brian going for that turn on turn 15 and the turn on 16 is really like it doesn't match, right? Turn 15, you're saying, hey, I'm willing to Bullet Punch, and if the Mamoswine Earthquakes, then I'm guaranteeing no rocks, basically. But since the rocks went up, you should just defog here. Like, if you're willing to make that 15 turn play, you should be defogging here 100%.
Earthquake, you are at 50 something, yeah.
We can also kind of look at it as like conditioning from Gypsy. He wanted to like make sure he 100% got the Delphox in on a safe Roost turn. Probably could have pulled the trigger earlier, but
no, I think Roost was a misplay. That's the point I'm making. I think it really should have been a defog.
The conditioning was the wrong way because like the defog was the normal click. Right?
If you were gonna roost in this situation, you should have roosted turn 15. That was the turn to do it. But here, he's gonna get punished with it. Rocks stay up. Delphox is in. Goes for a Mystical Fire. He tries to call the Hex, but with the rocks up, I mean, you can just kind of click at what's in front of you and you'll make progress that way. Like Gypsy no longer has to make these hard reads. Can just click what's in front, and that is going to be a KO here. The aggressive Lopunny does not work out. Now the Slowking comes in. It's going to force out this Delphox into the Como, trying to catch a water move. Is going to catch the Scald. You see a burn? No burn. But no like lefties reveal. So it could have been Lumberry. Hard to say. And here, Como gonna rip a Dragon Dance as Tinkaton comes in for the response, and it's gonna be Choice Scarf Tinkaton for the big reveal. Knocks out the Como in one hit for the surprise knockout. And Scarf Tinkaton into Corviknight, Slowking, Delphox. Can't say I like fault Gypsy for not expecting that, right?
Yeah.
Just
as a viewer, I was thinking, I was also surprised.
It's just a great call, right? Because I feel like from Brian's perspective, like if Como does set up that Dragon Dance, like what is your response? It's
Yeah, it's
very
really
limited, right?
tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of forced in a way in prep.
And it's also like Como does get Dragon Dances versus a lot of these Pokemon. It would get a Dragon Dance versus Lopunny, versus Scizor, Rotom, potentially if you're Lumberry, which I think it was, given how he played it.
Probably.
Even the
Yeah.
Golurk, right? All of these just give up the Dragon Dance, so having that guaranteed revenge, super valuable here, and it comes in clutch. Now, Delphox comes in, play rough, does 15, ridiculous, but Hex is going to come out, so Delphox able to live the next one. This time, Brian goes into Slowking, catches the Mystical Fire, so dancing around this Delphox quite well. But now, can just go to Primarina, which is like a super safe switch to Slowking. Again, no Scald Burn. Primarina hits the field for free, and the Encore comes out, preventing the Slowking from going for that chilly reception. So this means that Rotom Mow is now forced to take this hit, most likely a Moonblast. So here's that Rotom, but it's actually a flip turn, keeps up momentum, and this is going to allow Delphox again once more. Lefty's Rotom, will it die to a Mystical Fire? I feel like maybe, maybe not, but after the -1, it probably doesn't kill with Volt Switch, and again, the Hex into the Slowking. Gypsy makes the boss read, and Slowking gonna get 2-hit KO'd here. I think Hex is pretty safe to click here. And now Tinkaton gonna be the switch in. Oh, but he goes one step further, catches the Tinkaton on the switch, trying to pivot in, threaten a knockoff. Like, that's the kind of like nail in the coffin play where you're like, oh man, he's just so
Like, I just got
good,
fucking owned.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What can you do? So Tinkaton does go down. Crucial KO for Gypsy. But now Golurk comes in. He's able to shrug off any hit from the Delphox, but we do have a full HP Corviknight, so can just go to that as rocks are now finally traded. Which means that probably not interested so much in Defog anymore. We really want to limit the Delphox switch-ins if we can. Force the Corv to Defog if he wants the rocks off, but now Brave Bird into the Scizor. We're going to see the two steel types kind of walling each other. Kind of a nothing burger few turns, right? But here the light screen goes up on the U-turn, so really great timing on that light screen. Now Golurk has to come in, but Golurk doesn't really 1v1 this super easily, but the Trick Scarf, super important here, locks the Corviknight in, revealing that second Scarf. Again, another unexpected Choice Scarf catching Gypsy King. The first one caught the Como, this one's catching the Corviknight, and now, instead of Scizor versus Corviknight, really kind of favoring the pressure stall, if anything, now you're locked into the Brave Bird, and this Scizor could just sit on the Corviknight. And not only that, the rocks are up. Bullet Punch is now really scary for Gypsy.
Did Brian trick after putting up the rocks? Is that what I saw?
He got the rocks of the first entry point, and then
Came in again.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say, importantly, if you're Klutz on Golurk, you could rocks and then trick, because you don't use the item. But I guess he's like running Iron Fist or No Guard or something.
Oh, Klutz would be interesting. Maybe it is.
Yeah,
running that.
That's actually really
I didn't
cool.
realize
That's a
that.
good
Yeah,
shout.
no, that was an interaction I was going to call out, because you could rocks and you wouldn't be locked into it with Klutz, and then you could then trick the next turn. It used
I
to be
guess-
a set that was used in early Sword and Shield on Golurk, like for tricking and rocking sequences, but yeah.
I'm guessing it's
I
just like
wasn't sure.
you didn't need to make that play. Like, you don't know the Corviknight set.
I
It
think
could just be faster in U-turn, right?
It would be a really strong line though, right? You rock
It
as
would,
Corby
yeah.
comes in, and then you trick at a scarf. That would be
Really
incredibly
smart
valuable.
stuff. Yeah.
That's what I thought would happen, but regardless.
Yeah, so far, really great gameplay from Gypsy, but really great prep from Brian, as well as some good reads at sometimes. But here, Slowking avoids the 2-hit KO crucially, gets the chilly reception off into Golurk. Big man Golurk back on the field. Corviknight could
Lurking
come in,
puncher.
but the Poltergeist is looming. Here's that Corviknight coming in. What do we see here? We see a Heat Crash, even better into the Corviknight. Does 43%. Can't exactly roost here. Locking in a roost, no bueno. Goes for the Brave Bird, gets a crit here, but Scizor still able to shrug it off, get off a roost next turn. Brave Bird is not going to knock out the Corviknight and recoil crucially, which means another roost is afforded to the Scizor, remains at an even higher HP amount. So Scizor back up to 84. Really, you have to go Slowking. There's nothing else available, and the U-turn's coming out. So I guess the Scizor now beats the other 3 Pokemon, it looks like, but the Slowking is still a thorn in its side
Like,
with that
The
flamethrower.
rocks and getting the trick on Corby is so huge, because it basically
Mhm.
didn't give Gypsy the chance at all to remove, which means that the Delphox is always pinned whenever Scizor comes in, right? So at most, you've limited this Delphox to getting one more kill.
Well, I think this doesn't have defog, right? The last is surely Roost, and leading the Delphox like that, it really felt like a lot of the mocks he was just trying to like wisp stuff and chip things down in range for my Como. maybe my
Very clearly,
Mamoswine, you know. But he ended up getting way more long-term value than I think he expected. So, yeah. Now the Flamethrower comes out, chips the Golurk, but these lefties keeping it alive. And you see the switch to Delphox sacking it off. But we see a Headlong Rush, so Gypsy coming in on that Headlong Rush. I really thought it would be Poltergeist plus Heat Crash when I was watching this live, but is packing the Headlong. I wonder if there's something on the bench that forces this. Is there? There is a Jolteon and a Maushold, so I guess fair enough, right?
Well, more like you want a move that's. Oh no, I kind of don't know why you wouldn't just be Poltergeist, high key.
I like the Maushold, right? Is like so scary. I guess you have Bullet Punch and like 2 resists and something faster, but
and
still having the
he
immunity, like not hit it back.
He crashes 120 on that guy, right? So you're probably doing like 60 with Heat Crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's the Jolteon was a problem for him. I don't know. That's for him to know. Now Golurk is going to go down to the Delphox's last hurrah. The Mystical Fire knocks it out. Now Scizor for the revenge. I almost want to say like sacking the Golurk felt wrong. Like that, surely the Slowking was a better sack there. The Delphox is dealt with. And having the Golurk alive for this G-King feels really important. Right? Because then the combination of Golurk plus Scizor potentially can just wrap up this game. Maybe a mistake from Brian.
Yeah, we'll see what he has in store.
Because now, how are we breaking the Slowking? We have Rotom-Mow and our own Slowking, but...
You could at least Thunderwave this, potentially, right?
You can, but it's Champion's only 1 in 8 chance to get the full para.
More so that your Slowking could be faster.
I guess, but does that really get you anywhere in particular? Here's Pain Split Rotom, which is going to chip down the Slowking at least down low, but here, see how Volt Switch doesn't quite KO. Slowking comes in at 22%. Sludge one does 11. It's a roll on the next one. Does it live here? Gypsy not going to risk it. Gets the regen into the Primarina. May as well switch there. Catches the Slack off. Is this Primarina Calm Mind? That could be potentially game winning with Rotom so low. Oh, we're going to see the Encore trying to lock into the Slack off, but instead allows the Rotom in for free. Now Mamoswine in, trying to catch a T-Bolt or a Volt Switch, or a Pain Split, catches it, and now Rotom will remain in Rock's range. So Rotom basically dead unless you can defog with the Scizor. Here an Ice Shard comes out. Scizor could definitely defog if you want to, but I'm going to pull up Bunch and instead saying, I want the Rocks up for your Slowking, preventing that regen from going too crazy. Now a U-turn into our own Slowking, and Gypsy does go for the Chilly Reception. It looks like if this G-King doesn't have Slack off, it looks like you can't kill Brian's Slowking, so maybe I was wrong. Keeping the Slowking was correct. Here's a Psychic Noise, forcing it to be low at least. But Psychic Noise does not block regen, so should be able to just switch out here, sack the Rotom-Mow. There is that regen. Modem gonna be sacked. At this point, Primarina is so low, you can just go to Scizor for the Bullet Punch knockout. You can go Slowking as well. Doesn't really matter, right? Moonblast comes out. I think it's the drop.
From his perspective, yeah, you want to just heal up, right? Because even if he locks you with Encore, by the time he clicks Encore, the burn is going to mean Primarina dies to re-entry plus the burn damage.
I think you couldn't go wrong there.
You could literally just spam this forever. Yeah.
Yeah, so this game, really crazy. Gypsy making so many great reads, but Brian with the double Scarf tech, they're just able to like have the right things at the right time for this endgame to go his way, it looks like. So that's going to be game 2 with Brian bringing us up 2-0 in the series, right?
I think the Slowking took like 800% this game.
Yeah. And then finally the reveal of Nasty Plot means that, you know, even if this G-King had that Slack off, it wasn't enough. So Brian really prepared for everything here.
It's a great set, and it's a great mind to preserve it, you know, to make sure that it actually sticks around to the end game. Because it looks like once it was Prim and G-King, you basically have the game locked down.
Yeah, really high level game from both sides. Honestly, really enjoyed watching that one. Okay, now we go on to game 3. It's going to be Palkia versus the Rage 77. All right.
Oh, should I give the backstory for this?
Sure, yeah.
So, had a conversation with my good pal, Addison, captain of Judgment Day, and there's a dedicated lead here on Palkia's end. It is going to be the Frostlass, and Edison, being the very
Yes, I
sequence-based
heard about
strategic
this.
player that she is, she laid out a foundation and gave Palkia a play.
Oh, did we lose Glop? Oh, my headphones went out. Hold on. I gotta like unplug and replug my headphones.
It's him, right? He'll figure it out eventually. Talking. So basically, a game plan for what to do on each
There we
lead.
go.
And this was not only put in writing, it was also discussed in voice calls. Rai was there, all the captains were there. Everybody's like, yeah, this makes sense. We're all on the same page. Just go ahead and start up that game for me, Mr. L5. So turn 1 on Zapdos, Eddie was like, you know what, Palkia, I think you should probably rip a substitute here. Because Thunderwave Zapdos, there's something that they were seeing in mocks. It makes a lot of sense, right? Like Thunderwave.
Mhm.
It didn't sound like a you should sub. It was you will sub on the Zapdos. Is what
Yeah,
she
sorry.
sounded
You
like
will,
she was saying.
you will click sub on the Zapdos to count for T-Wave. So Palkia, the brave man he is, says, nah.
So Cinderace on Mew, and he clicked Ice Beam on Zapdos and gets T-waved immediately.
And mind you, like if you pause, look at their team. Like, where's the ice resist? It's a Blastoise. The Blastoise is under immense pressure from Metagross, from Cinderace. Not going to be a hard Pokemon to wear down, right? If it's offensive, takes even more from Ice Beam. Like, this draft that Rage is using is incredibly Ice Weak. It's something that I kind of noticed when we played it the week prior. And getting Thunder Wave there is just like a completely terrible thing to have happen. And it's funny because after the game, Palkia's reasoning was, yeah, well, I didn't agree with the play. But nothing was said. There was no discussion. It was just I think I'll do something different turn 1 for the fucking love of the game.
He actually just said, yeah, I should probably not. Right. So we get out of this like lead sequence, right? Zapdos heals up to 73. Zeraora makes an appearance, and now Dragalge, a pretty safe switch in all things considered. This is physically defensive Rocky Helmet, but the Zeraora is protective pads. So not only blocks the helmet, but also the poison poison point. Really good stuff here from Palkia. And this allows us to just go for a bulk up as Dragalge goes for the T-Spike. Now this means that, unless this is Boot Cinderace, it's poison, but really the T-Spike's not super high value, right? If this Zera just stays in, which, it might just do, then the T-Spike's really not too valuable. Here's a dual chop, but the switch to Crocodile, pretty reasonable here.
Is going to miss. Now, in the moment, this looks irrelevant, but I want you to remember, burn turn 9 into your memory. This will come back.
Turn 8, yeah. All right, I'll burn it.
Thank you.
Okay. Zapdos comes in on the Crocodile, catches an Earthquake. Boo. But now Zapdos on Zapdos action. A U-turn's going to come out, no static proc, but Zeraora comes in. This time the T-Spikes will trigger. And a dual chop once again, trying to catch that Dragalge switch in, but a Roost comes out instead. And now the Zapdos could just rip a U-turn here. Not really threatened too hard, but instead just going to go hard Crocodile trying to catch a Plasma Fist. Instead going to catch a Bulk Up, same thing. Earthquake should be enough to block it out here at 64. And the crit, I don't think mattered. At the very least, like if it did matter, you should have been willing to stay in when you're at 100 rather than at 64. Like, if we're going to take this Zera for Crook trade, should have done it last time. Okay, Hydreigon comes in, going to force this out with a Dark Pulse as Blastoise reveals to be basically max special defense. Now Flipturn comes out, Frostas trying to spin block, no hazards. Probably just a sack more than anything to BH, but yeah, Frostas comes in, gonna go down to the Zapdos U-turn, and now Blastoise back on the field. This is to prevent something like the Cinderace coming in and getting off maybe a court change immediately. So instead, Hydreigon comes in, goes for Dark Pulse as we eat our J-Ricky and go for the flip turn, but a flinch comes out, unlucky. But now, I think Rage just assumes this is Scarf Hydreigon, so just gonna pivot to Crocodile, and now can rip a close combat. But instead gonna knock off, catches a Rocky Helmet on the Zapdos Galar. So here, a Thunderous Kick into the static Zapdos. Gets the drop, but no static. Here's a Hurricane, dodges, gets another Thunderous Kick. And again, no static, another drop. Here, another Hurricane. This one does connect, but Metagross going to come onto the field just in time. Now U-turn into Kartana as Stealth Rock goes up. This is going to put certain things on a timer, right? Blastoise is going to come in at 50 instead. Other than that, they're like not super relevant, I think. Zapdos is Boots. But yeah, Roost up to full as Metagross comes in. This time, Metagross can click something like a Toxic. So this time, the U-turn into Kartana, and it actually does catch a Toxic, so Rage reads that this is a defensive Metagross and plays accordingly. This time a Smart Strike comes out. There's like a 3-KO on the Zapdos, not willing to stay in here. Honestly, probably could have stayed in, right? You don't really need your Kartana HP for anything. And Zapdos revealed its move Thunderous Kick. Maybe like CC is still possible, but I don't know.
Can we just admire how he's made contact with his Zapdos probably like 7 times?
Yeah, no static.
Like,
it's kind of tough, no? Okay, now the U-turn comes out, and Kartana once again comes in. This time, Palkia is going to read that with the Hammer Arm, but the leftovers Kartana does read to be Synthesis, right? So Palkia going to switch, trying to catch that Synthesis, but instead a knockoff comes out. Zapdos, fortunately, still out of range of that Smart Strike, so Zapdos on Zapdos once again comes in. Do we see a static? Finally gets what is promised to him, but the Hurricane misses again on the Zapdos. So yeah, finally connects, but Zapdos really made Rage work for it. Now Cinderace comes in, knocks
it's
it
actually
out.
maddening how much RNG went Palkia's way.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually insane.
Hey, but he missed that dual shop, remember? I burned turn 8 into my
True,
skull.
True.
It's
He
burned
got
like
hacked,
a
bro.
Will-O-Wisp, dude.
True.
Okay,
I
Crook
think
comes
when
in.
Thunderwave, when Thunderwave hit, that also was hacks too, right?
Probably, right? Yeah. Here's a knockoff. Gets rid of the Choppleberry Hydreigon, so not Scarf like we expected earlier, but it's going to allow Lele to pivot in on this Dark Pulse. It only does 39%, really not all that much damage. Now Metagross is going to come in on this Moonblast, but eats the J-Ricky. Going to recover back more than it took, and Dragalge going to be the sack of choice, but a double to Hydreigon, so still sacking the Dragalge, but it's in front of Hydreigon this time. Now Lele comes in, and because this Hydreigon is -2, we're just going to make the aggressive Shadow Ball play into the Metagross. And actually just knock it out in 2. So Metagross goes down, and now Tapu Lele, I mean, the dual stabs can deal with the rest, but you can't lock into any one thing. So Powerball is going to knock out the cart, but now Blastoise in can go for a flip turn here. If the Cinderace stays in, it's probably putting Blastoise in torrent range, so going to be big damage. Now flip turn into Crocodile of all things, threatening a close combat KO. There it is. Hydreigon does go down, but now Cinderace comes in, and yeah, it is Scarf Crook, and you have a Blastoise sack. So Blastoise can come out, but it is Flame Charge Cinderace. Gonna get +2 speed on the Zapdos. Crucially gonna outspeed any Scarfers that Rage has, which we already revealed that this Crook is Choice Scarf. So here, gonna get the Intimidate, but it's not enough. Pyro is still a KO at 41. So we have to sack our Lele to get a second Intimidate. And can this Crook survive at -2? Is that 35%? It is going to survive. Wait a minute. What was that turn 8 again?
Thinks about it.
Missed a dual chop into Crocodile, huh?
And that small little bit of chip absolutely would have made the difference. But honestly, if you look at how all of the sequences and everything played out in this game, it was like you kind of shot yourself in the foot from turn 1. Like, if you dodge that Thunder Wave, you're forcing out Zapdos early, you're getting information on Blastoise early. You know, it can't come in and stomach all the hits from Hydreigon the way it did. Like, your game plan is just so much further ahead, but taking that Thunder Wave on turn 1 means Frostlass was basically dead weight the entire game. So a piece that should have been on the field multiple times, owning things lives, kind of just got resignated to it being a sack, right?
It should have been the U-turn targets of all of these Zapdos U-turns on the opposing Zap. Like, every time that happens, it's like basically a KO, right?
With Ice Beam, yeah.
Like, it really feels like this could have been a dominant win if this just played a little bit differently.
And it's interesting because, like, it's not just like one thing didn't go Palkia's way. It's like there were multiple things that were just missed. And even despite that, look how close the game was. So to me, it really illustrates that, like, the prep and the game planning from Judgment Day was absolutely there. Just a lot of missed opportunities when it came to execution.
For sure. All right, so
Even
that's
while
gonna be
even while dodging 7 statics. Somebody get a count on that. By the way, I'm
so many
curious.
statics, so many hurricanes dodged.
Actually, fucking criminal, dude.
Just be what it do. That's gonna be Nature's Madness up 2-1, but here we have Queen Addison versus Hunter P. Probably like the
One of the highlight
headliner.
matchups.
Yeah.
Yep, of this series for sure.
All right, so 2 of the best Swish players in the game should be a good one. Addison using her signature weird offense with the Togekiss, the Jirachi Swampert defensive core with pivots to get stuff like Kyurem and Kartana on the field. This is something that is like pretty similar to what she's used in the past. It's kind of a hybrid of 2 drafts that she's used.
Like, I like to call this Hacks offense, right? You combine Kyurem Freeze into fat teams, combined with Serene Grace, Togekiss, Jirachi, and to, like, I don't know, like, you know what you are. If you load this up, like, you know what you are.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, winners win. Whereas Hunter P on the other side using his signature Swish Blaziken Scizor offense with Feeny. Like the Nihilego, also a classic for him.
Yeah, it's the Scizor, Blaziken, the Nihilego. This guy literally drafts these Pokemon every single team tour. And then you can see the J-Scurf Brain Rot makes its presence known with the inclusion of our local friend Aerodactyl, who prior to J-Scurf using it in that one tour, never was drafted like ever in Swish. And perhaps I'm controversial for saying that. That guy still should not be getting drafted. But
Yeah.
Swish is one of those formats where the speed options are incredibly limited. And I can understand, you know, the gripes and frustrations of not having an elite speed tier. Does that justify putting a 4-point Aerodactyl in your draft? Absolutely not. Just learn to use good Scarfers. But I guess if that helps you sleep at night, you know.
And
so be it.
J-Scurf sleeping pretty right now says Arrow is the best mon in the tier. Maybe
Said
a little
only
bit of
J-Scurf.
hyperbole, right? But
Said only J-Scurf ever.
all right, Addison versus Hunter P. Let's get ready for it. Swampert going to lead off into the Tapu Fini. This is somewhat of a neutral lead. Could be an energy ball, but either way, can get off this really strong Earthquake here as a trick comes out. So now this is a Scarf Swampert versus an Assault Vest Fini with the items being swapped. Now locked into the Earthquake, could see a switch to the Landorus or the Aerodactyl. Of the 2, I think a free Lando turn is probably a little bit more impactful. So, but thinking about it, you could just go Kyurem here to cover both, but also like this Fini could just stay in and rip a Moonblast, so maybe that's a little bit too aggressive. Maybe a better thing to cover it, you just let it happen, because Lando coming in isn't the end of the world.
Are you talking about turn 1?
Turn two. Like here, do you click Earthquake again? Because you're locked into it now. Like you don't have a double that punishes Lando while also catching a Fini Moonblast on the stay in.
I don't think in good conscience you can stand here. You probably got to retreat to something.
Here is the Kyurem. Do we see a Moonblast? There is the Moonblast. So Hunter P calls the double. That's what I was saying. Like you can't cover both. So Addison chooses to cover the Lando or the Aerodactyl switch, mostly the Lando, but gonna get punished with the Fini. And Fini's actually gonna be faster than Kyurem. The weakness policy, not gonna run max speed, and Fini, even without the Choice Scarf, just gonna outspeed, and a great lead for 100p. Gets the trick on Swampert, a KO on Kyurem. It's like really good for your Lando, right?
Dude, Fini low-key might be the go to Swish. I've been loving
It's
this
so
thing.
good,
Been
yeah.
using it. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, but now Kartana can come out. This should always be a free Scizor. Yeah, there is the Scizor. A Swords Dance comes out. This could be Life Orb Kartana. Here's a Sacred Sword. Does 99%. It is Rocky Helmet and it is Life Orb Kartana, but Scizor does live to tell the tale. It's at 1%, gets the U-turn into the presumed Scarf Nihilego, goes for the Hex to finish that off, but the Choice Scarf Swampert actually outspeeds the Nihilego.
Which
Honestly, why did it stay
that's
in
a
there?
really free. It's a super free click for Addison. Like, where do you go to as 100? Right? Your
I guess,
water resist.
yeah, Fini's at
50.
52.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
and
and I'm pretty
Scissor's
sure
at 1.
when you see Moonblast from the Fini, I think it's pretty unlikely it's going to be Energy Ball. Like, I feel like you could run Grass Knot Lando, you could be Grass Knot on the Nihilego. There's plenty of ways to lure and ship the Swampert from Craig's End. So realistically, though, at this point, and it's funny because I think earlier in the week, I think she had Scarf Pert, but she was just worried about like certain sequences and like locking Scarf Earthquake. It's kind of annoying, like you were saying, based on that turn 1, right? So, but now it's like you just have this free liquidation to click now that the Feeney's already been weakened. So now it's actually quite dangerous for Craig.
Wait, I'm doing some math here.
Yep.
This here, forcing out the Kartana, this is Hunter
Yep.
bluffing a choice Scarf. Because the Swampert was faster. It can't be Scarf Nihilego.
What do you mean?
You see that? Like, if the Kartana just stays in, the Nihilego is dead.
Right. Okay. I get
Or
what you're
maybe
saying. Yeah.
you can only get that Sacred Sword roll if you're adamant. That would also make sense, right? Because 99's a
yeah.
lot in this.
No, I'm like so sure that's adamant card. It has
Yeah.
to be. 'Cause what
Also,
else do you
just
need? Well, I
knowing
guess,
Addison, like it's gonna be adamant.
to be fair, like you have a Swampert and a Jirachi. I feel like Nihilego is not
Yeah, for sure.
one of your
Especially
biggest
like
worries.
you're bringing
Right.
Swampert as an AV Pokemon. Like you're probably just I'll deal with Nihilego defensively. It's fine.
Exactly.
But yeah. Now Landers comes in. Honestly, Swampert could just rip another liquidation. Yeah, weakening this Landers is really important for your Kartana, in particular for your Persian, stuff like that.
36 is still fucking insane damage. How can it do that little? Like this is max attack Swampert probably,
Yeah.
right?
Crit into Togekiss. Another Moonblast comes out. Do we see a Roost? We do see a Roost. So not the end of the world. Togekiss able to heal back up to full.
Honestly, Togekiss looking kind of demon. Like there is the arrow in the back, right? But you got rid of Nihilego. That's one of the biggest obstacles that Togekiss will always face.
Mhm.
So this thing can kind of just sit in forever and spam Roost.
Yeah, eventually you will
You
get
could
that
just-
special attack drop, but it's not the end of the world still. Like, you're not in threat of dying. And here, the T-Wave.
Yeah, this is the big thing, right? By stalling out the terrain turns, you're able to finally land a Thunderwave on something. So now this Togekiss is quite annoying, but the way Landorus comes in aggressively here, it's kind of telegraphing that Stone Edge is coming your way.
Yeah. So a really great switch into Swampert catches that, and now Swampert's in without the Intimidate from earlier. Should just be a KO here. Nothing that Hunter P can really do about it. Yeah, because Liquidation will Tokyo the Feeny. The drop does not matter. And Feeny goes down. Sets the Misty Terrain as a parting gift, but now Blaziken's in. Has to go for a Protect to outspeed. But can CC kill this Swampert? Gonna go for it, and it does knock it out. Is that Life Orb?
100%.
Yeah, it is Life Orb, Blaziken.
Yep.
Yeah. Now Togekiss comes in, able to take something like a Flare Blitz, no problem. So Landorus is going to be the pivot in. Misses an Air Slash, and now it's a little bit of a dicey situation. It's going to stay in and just hit the Air Slash, so a little bit of justice for missing.
Oh, that's an Addison classic right there.
Yep. Now Air Slash, this time Aerodactyl comes in. Or we see a Dragon Dance as Togekiss just stays in, rocks the T-Wave.
And I mean, to be fair, you can pretty confidently make that play. I'm like almost certain max HP Togekiss lives Stone Edge.
Definitely, yeah.
It might even live Life Orb too.
Here's that foul play. Just kills the arrow. Definitely going to be Fur Coat Persian here. Here's a sub trying to catch a Protect on Blaziken, but Blaziken really not necessary to protect. But what it also catches is this Swords Dance play, because now.
Well,
go ahead.
I was gonna say the nice thing too though is like by going for sub, you basically always deny Swords Dance, right? The only way that Craig wins this is he has to get +2 with Blaziken because the raw Flare Blitz won't kill Togekiss. So let's say worst case scenario happens, you sub, he goes for close combat, outspeeds you next turn, kills you with the next close combat. It's still fine because every time Togekiss comes in, you're getting a kill with Air Slash. And so because Addison has the tempo, she always wins the trade war, no matter what sets any Pokemon has, and no matter how anything goes down. So realistically, like it's kind of a pin situation for Craig.
Yeah, can we see like a double kick Blaziken here? That would be kind of heat.
Probably not, right?
Yeah, just gonna be a close combat. Not only gets the +2 attack, but also the -1 defense for this foul play to just completely annihilate this Blaziken. And that's gonna be the game. Persian just instantly sweeps right with foul play. Nothing to be done.
I've done nothing but dog on this Persian Alola guy for the last like 5 weeks, but you know what? I guess I must concede if your opponent drafts Craig offense, this guy is kind of Thanos, right?
Yeah.
You draft 30 Pokemon with 140 base attack, yeah, foul play is going to be kind of Thanos, right?
Yep. Yeah, this is something like I think people could learn from this as an example. Like this is something Addison I think does maybe better than anyone that I can think of in the community, where she just loads up offense and figures it out in the game, right? A lot of people would see this, oh, I have Kartana Kyurem against Scizor. Oh, what am I even supposed to do? Ah, it's so impossible. No, just rip a +2 Sacred Sword, trade the HP, and then that opens up the game for the rest of your offensive threats. She's very good at this, like, weaken the wall, and then everything else just barges through. And then finding that Swampert set, like, Getting even just tricking a choice scarf onto it, like liquidation, just very strong. Like max attack Swampert, again, another offensive thing for Craig to deal with. And like once you weaken the Scizor, it's so hard.
I think part of the gripe with it too, right? So on the bench for Craig, there's a Cradilly. Obviously, Cradilly is a piece of shit, and I shouldn't even be saying his name. But I guess theoretically, if you bring, Landorus and Cradilly, then there are mind games of like, if I'm Scarf, what do I lock into, right? It becomes way more of an obstacle. Now, if Cradilly doesn't come, then you can just fucking liquidation and Misto flip on the whole team. You don't really care, but ultimately, I think that's what dissuaded her from bringing it. But then it's like, I guess favor struck her way, and she ended up getting the Scarf Swampert anyways. So
Yeah.
kind of works out in the end.
All right, now we go on to the next game. This is now what, 2-2? Series tied up, right?
Sounds right.
Yeah. All right. And now we're in the land of Scarlet and Violet with Wildcat formations versus J Scarf. Mr. Top 5
Holy shit.
himself, chills.
Is that Mr. Top 5 in Draft League? Holy.
Oh my god. And he's using the Blaziken, Mistomagius, Gyarados. Oh my god, it's cinema. Now, in the past few weeks, really the star of the show has been this Mismagius, has to be said.
Can we also talk about why is this Gyarados asshole always on this draft structure? I always see this Gyarados guy. Like, what's he there for? Like,
I think they just like Gyarados. It's like a lot of things that can check Blaziken give setup to Gyarados and vice versa. There's probably something to do with that, as well as having the versatility of like Intimidate T-Wave in like the matchups where you need that.
one positive I will say, now that I look at it a little more closely, is like, don't teams like that just get absolutely smashed by Keldeo?
Yeah.
So I guess you dissuade Keldeo from just brainless Terra Water, because like Gyarados can be split F and just pretty easily take that.
So you force something like the Terra Electric, and then you're able to like clean it with like a Scarf Chomp or something. I don't know. You have options at least.
Like, I get why he's there, but I look at the lead matchup and I just don't like that he's there. I don't know why he's there.
You say, hey, that's a Gen 1 mod. Get that out of here.
What the fuck is he doing? Yeah.
Is this DPP? Like, Gyarados? All right, but here he is. You're going to see a Terra fighting Keldeo here, funny enough. Honestly, kind of a strange one to me. Like, you want the boost of Vacuum Wave, I suppose, to hit Darkrai stronger. But it really does feel like you're just, okay, Gyarados is going to be good into you. Mismagius is going to be good into you. It really feels like there had to be better options available. But on the other side of the team, the Skuntank is going to be Terra Fire and the Slowbro is Terra Water. So Terra Water Slowbro does make a little bit more sense, like boosting up that Scald. The only resist is Gyarados, which doesn't beat you. You now Oko Blaziken with Scald. Like something like a Calm Mind, Terra Water Slowbro gets rid of that Darkrai weakness, Mismagius weakness. So there's a lot more merit to that than I think the Keldeo this game. I would have liked to see Terra Electric Keldeo here, if anything. But J-Scriff on the other side is rocking Terra Electric himself on that Blaziken, and Terra Fairy on the Mismagius. So, let's see how this one goes. Meowscarada going to lead off into the Darkrai. Could be threatening a Scarf U-turn, but Darkrai does not give a BEP. Stays in for a Will-O-Wisp, catches a Leaf Storm for his troubles from Life Orb Meowscarada. So, Life Orb Meowscarada, what is that even trying to catch? Maybe you're just trying to catch a Will-O-Wisp, which I suppose worked out. Was there something on the bench that like super messes with physical Meowscarada? No. I feel like it could have just been a normal Meowscarada set like Choice Scarf, and it would have been totally reasonable here. But
well, Scarf's it's a little clunky into Blaziken and Gyarados. No, I feel like that's opening yourself up.
Yeah, but when you have a Slowbro, who cares, right? That's like the good thing about having a Slowbro on your draft versus something like this. You can afford to lock into your Scarfer, take a KO, and deal with the setup.
With Blaziken Terra and Gyarados Power Whip, isn't Slowbro kind of like a burger flipper? I don't know.
Maybe Gyarados Power Whip is like a reasonable shout, but then you just have Scarf Thunder Punch from Meowscarada to revenge it anyways, right? Like the Scarf Meowscarada is like, it allows the setup, but it also revenges +1 threats. So, I don't know. That's fair. It's special, it's Life Orb, we move on, and it's dead to Ice Beam. Awesome. We had the Skuntank. What was the purpose of the Skuntank if not to check the Darkrai? I don't know. Either way, Keldeo comes in, a massive crit for 20% on Gyarados. Love to see that. And so this is like AV Gyarados or something. 20% on a crit? That's disgusting. And it's gonna lose the 1v1 anyways. Gyarados is horrible. What the fuck? Okay, we surf for fun.
Okay, but where's
Yeah,
the power?
what is going on? I don't know.
What?
Wait,
What is
no,
happening here?
no. Back up. Why the fuck was Vacuum Wave clicked? Can anybody explain that? Like, okay, it's very obvious that Surf crit doing 20. This fucker has to be AV, right?
shit.
Like, why are you like cussed at? But like, nah, that's not real. This shit can't be cussed at and AV.
Does like Secret Sword activate like toxic spikes from Glamora or something? Like I don't think it does, but like I'm trying to.
No, it doesn't.
I'm searching for it again.
It's a special move. There's no reason to not just rip a sword there.
I
Yeah,
think-
and it already Virgie points out it just clicked the move at 13, so it's
Yeah.
not cussed out. Like
It's literally not cussed at.
Yeah, words defy this one.
Okay, so I get the serve. He's trying to catch the mismag because like obviously it's losing the 1v1, but like the vacuum
Nah.
wave, I'm not too sure.
Judgment Day with their classic questionable clicks
Mhm.
going on.
Your spike comes out from the Glamora. Earth power probably coming here, but rocks go up on the Mismagius switch, so that's good for Wildcat. But yeah, Skuntank in on a Will-O-Wisp from the Mismagius, so looks like Wisp spam because all of the Ghost and Dark Resist are naturally physical on this team, but here in the game both of them are special. But I see the vision. Glamora comes in once more, gonna get another spike onto the field. And now at this point, it's really looking like it needs to be like a Jirachi Masterclass or like a Calm Mind Slowbro win path. Everything else feels like it just doesn't do anything in this game. Yeah, Landorus always going to get checked by this Mismagius here. And Icy Wind easily 2-hit KOs the Landorus. I say easily, but the J-Ricky makes it close, but a U-turn comes out into the Jirachi. Is this Scarf Ironhead? No, it's going to get whisked as well.
Good point by Babel
There's
in
a
the
trick
chat. What's
room.
the other Terra? Because they didn't Terra the Keldeo there, so
Just Terra
So, yeah,
Water
they're-
on the Slowbro, yeah.
So we're just
Okay.
willingly playing on hard mode. Got it.
Mm-hmm. So Mismagius is low. Now Slowbro, it should be in range of like I guess it's not. It's Max
Oh
Spadef
my.
Mismagius, which makes sense to the Keldeo matchup, right? But yeah, this is just belt to ass.
Beyond a chopped.
Yeah, here's a Calm Mind, but Hex is doing so much damage. You only have 8 Slack Offs this gen. There's a crit. You weren't winning that one anyways. Let's be
I'm
so
not
for
gonna lie,
real.
we just sped it up.
Yeah.
Nah, Toxic and chat saying fight back is crazy.
Yeah, like. Why does it feel like Wildcat's Pokemon are always coming in at -2? What is this damage? Like, has anything
Roar-
actually done good damage besides the
not-
Life Orb Meow turn 1?
The roar was a valiant fight back though.
It was,
I gotta give-
yeah. That was
I know
tough.
it's the good click, yeah.
Tough as a
Yeah,
mud.
we're only down 2-6, but hey, maybe.
Yeah, his Skuntank goes down to the
Or-
scale shot.
My
Wait,
name is Mr. Top 5 Draft, and I just 6-0 people for fun.
guy like me preserves here, but alas. J-Scurf,
Can we
no
talk
love for the
about-
game.
Can we talk about how Terra was never clicked and Blaziken was never clicked by J-Scurf?
Outrage.
Nah, that is a 6-0. Listen, in Smash, we would call that a JV6. Okay, we would call that a JV.
Yeah, true.
Because
Yes.
Garchomp got the kill.
Yeah.
Like,
With Outrage, you don't get the 6-0 anyways, right? But
J-Scurf said, I didn't want to be a dick. Hell no, I would have been an asshole. I
yeah,
would've found
yeah.
it.
Dude, you saw my game, right? I was a complete asshole. My bad. It was fun though. Yeah.
Wait, are we supposed to be watching from Judgment's perspective? Aren't we?
Yeah, we were.
Okay. Oh, hey, Zero
Oh, we
Hero.
have to watch from this guy's perspective. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So now Nature's Guardians are up 3-2 now, right? And now we have Sub-Zero versus Blitzberg. Now, Sub, that's my boy. I did build a mock for him this game, but he never took it, so now I hate him forever. It is what it is.
Wow, you didn't waste your time.
He literally wasted like 6 minutes of my time building that mock. Okay, but Kyurem in versus Clefable as the lead. This is an ORAS game, so keep in mind stuff like burn being 12%. Not super relevant here, not a lot of Scald users or Will-O-Wisp. But yeah, Kyurem versus Clefable. Kyurem's just going to stay in, rip a Flash Cannon early, reveals to be physically defensive Clef because that is a solid 2-hit KO.
Well,
And
it's
Moonblast,
actually,
unfortunately, is going to get a drop.
it's actually not Fizz Def Clefable. There's actually a lot to
Maybe
unpack
Mixed
from that
Def?
turn one. Well, both people know both players know, so it's not like I'm revealing information that's
Mhm.
not revealed. But basically, what we see in this lead is an Assault Vest Kyurem, and we see a Life Orb Clefable. Because the only way Clefable does
Mhm.
that much is with Invested Moonblast Life Orb.
Yeah, true.
And the only way Kyurem takes that little is if it's got an Assault Vest on. So both players should kind of have an idea of like what's going on in this lead sequence.
Yeah, so it's drop for drop, which means Kyurem will win the lead sequence, but doesn't want to just Flash Cannon Raw into the Empoleon. So a double to Thundurus, really nice here, but Blitz does not give a BEP, recovers on that switch out like a beast, and now it's Thundurus versus Clefable, but the Clefable's at full, ready to rip
Still-
like a Life Orb Moonblast here.
Well, it's still relatively favored, right? Because a Life
Switches.
Orb Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt would
Switches.
send. Yes, bro, a Life Orb Thunderbolt would send that bitch flying. What do you mean?
I feel like you just
mean,
take that trait
get-
though.
I guess you have a Manetric, but like I guess yeah, low key. Well, I guess Sludge Wave, right? You're worried about Sludge Wave. Like Sludge Wave would be.
I
a
guess,
genuine
yeah,
click
it says
there.
you're -1, Life Orb
Yeah,
Sludge.
like
I
just-
guess, yeah.
yeah.
But you're
But
gonna get
instead-
super punished by a knockoff here. Latios down to
And
2%,
goodbye,
and then a U-turn on the Clefable gets positioning into Registeel as well for the free rocks. This set doubles to Thundurus like a beast. I don't know. Should have just gone to Thundurus, I guess. Here's an Iron Tail, lands a little bit to the left, but yeah, not too impactful as Soft Blood was clicked anyways. Iron Tail into Empoleon gets the drop, but no Defiant, so it is Torrent Empoleon. A double to Manectric trying to call the Wild Charge, but instead a knockoff, and a superpower gonna just knock out the Manectric from 62.
That's pretty crazy.
To be fair, even
Couldn't go for the
Wait,
Mega
is
there.
that Mega Manetric?
It was a Mega
It is,
Manectric, but you can't because Intimidate procs
It's
Defiant.
Defiant, yeah.
Well,
Right.
also-
Oh shit.
But we're also forgetting about like speed interactions, right? Because Manetric doesn't get the speed turn 1.
Yeah, it's Oras. So
So not only would you give it a +1, you'd also still be outsped, and then you just gave it a free
yeah,
+1
and
for
then
the
you
love
just
of
give
the
it
game.
a free boost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
So-
think Blitz is banking on the last move being Wild Charge here, just because Superpower wasn't revealed. But I think maybe he assumes Superpower, but either way, you don't have a switch
let's
in.
let's just point out that 2 Pokemon on Blitz's end have done a combined 0% damage.
That is tough. But now the Weavile comes in, a Pursuit here would be really, really big, but the Registeel should be coming out here, and there is no Pursuit clicked. And it is going to be a physically defensive Registeel. Not the Reggie Thanos that was brought into this team last week, but he's here just clock into his 9 to 5, get rocks up, check the Weavile, do his thing. Now Empoleon comes in, if he defogs, this Thundurus is going to the moon, so gonna wisely match rocks instead, but Thundurus does get a free switch out of it, and now just goes for a knockoff, gets rid of the leftovers on Empoleon as Scald comes out, only 26%, so this is another Assault Vest from Sub-Zero. Now, crucially, no burn, which would have completely destroyed this Thundurus, but now Empoleon should be in range of Superpower, so a pivot to Clefable is going to be in order. And now -1 attack is going to go for a knockoff, gets rid of the Life Orb Clefable, but Soft Bolt back up to full, probably just going to, I guess, Iron Tail, yeah, -1, but still roundabout a 2-hit KO, and gets the drop, crucially, so Latios
But the
Sack
knock-
is coming.
The knockoff there is really crucial because if you don't go for that, like you
You
can
just
start
die.
ripping Iron
Yeah.
Tails. Yes, you would just die to the Life Orb Moonblast. Yeah.
This Thundurus has like killed like
Three
3.5
entire-
Pokemon, or like like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's already done over 350% to his team. It's kind of insane.
Many such cases for Oras Thundurus. There's a reason this mon is like always going like round 2 at the very latest. But here Weavile comes in for the revenge. I'm just gonna save it as sack fodder, or maybe you think you can get the spin off later. Either way, Icicle Crash comes out, and that is choice banded Weavile, it looks like. So Registeel able to just shrug that off, go for a superpower of its own as Empoleon comes in, absorbs it, but only barely, right? And now Kyurem can come in. If we see a Scald, it could totally live this, but instead it's Flash Cannon. Yeah. So Kyurem goes down. Now Greninja in for the revenge, and now there's going to be a Night Slash. Reveals physical Greninja, and it is Life Orb. So physical Life Orb Gren, you want to say this is probably going to be like the Water Shuriken, something to out prioritize Diggersby Quick Attack in the case that it gets +2. Something that
Yep.
could be quite scary to Sub-Zero's team. But here Clefable comes in. We do have the Gunk Shot. It's just going to connect the Gunk. And now Weavile comes in. We do have the Water Shuriken, right? So can go for it, but instead make the safe play. Just going to go to Registeel. No reason not to. Registeel is pretty useless here. And can just rip a Iron Head. And now Diggersby can't exactly set up multiple turns on a superpower Registeel. So here's that Sword Stance, but once you take the superpower, you're instantly in range of that water shuriken, so the game's done.
For
Booyah.
some additional context to this matchup, Sub-Zero was freaking out all week about Diggersby like destroying him, and then it came to the game and
Got one.
traded with a 20% Registeel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many such cases, right?
It's always, yeah.
Okay, so we got a
But,
series on our hands, right? 3-3.
That was a fucking dominant game. I don't think Sub got a single turn wrong, to be honest. Like, that was just
yeah,
textbook-
pretty close.
like textbook Thanos gameplay. Yeah.
Yep. All right, TDG versus Zom. All right.
Bro, are these guys addicted to fucking Gyarados? What's the deal?
They are. They just love Gyarados. They love him. This one is going to be on a Terra Torn team, which is going to be Terra Poison.
What's that cipher line with the Gyarados? Something gave it up, the Gyarados.
That's why she gave it up. Touch over the Gyarados. Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was the game from last week. Oops. I saw the same team. I was
there's
like,
no Great Tusk on this one. Yeah.
Whew. Crisis averted.
There's a Ting Lu, which is infinitely worse than Great Tusk.
Yep.
All right. What can we say about this one? Poison Torn, Dark Okie Dokie, right?
We can say that TDG
Mhm.
brought about 60 points worth of budget, and the other guy brought like 78 points of budget. So I think I know how this one goes.
Series is 2-4, not 3-3. Is it? Oh yeah, because Brian won as well. Yeah, it is 2-4 actually. So Judgment Day needs to clinch here. Actually, I counted incorrectly. This is so sad. Why did I do that? Am I stupid?
Bro, is TDG,
I hate
is
that.
TDG he must be addicted to this Moltres guy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the sprite looks cool. Like the colors work.
Yeah, good talk.
Yeah. Yeah. On the other side, the Terra types looks like Flying Moltres, right? Moltres is one of the... Yeah, Moltres and Slowking are the two Terra types, with an Iron Crown as the third on the bench. So, yeah. I mean, I'm ready to get into it. Cinderace lead into the Okie Dokie. Could be packing the Zen Head, but although I find it hard to believe you rip a Zen Headbutt turn 1 into a Terra Dark guy, but regardless, the switch to Gyarados does make a lot of sense, as we just catch a Pyro Ball doing 22% and burning the Gyarados, but it's Lumberry, so who give a Bep? Right. Slowking comes in on the Dragonance Gyarados, and this could be packing the Power Whip. I know someone in my chat said it doesn't get Power Whip this gen, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
Let me fact check this.
Yeah, you can fact check that, but I'm pretty sure it gets Power Whip in Gen 9. Anyway, here's a T-Wave on the Ting Lu coming in. Now Cinderace, the switch into Ting Lu, really? Okay.
It in fact does not get Power Whip. We were lied
Does it have it in Swish then?
to. It does, yeah. in
Okay,
Switch
that's
it
what
has
I was thinking it of.
Unfortunately,
All
he's a
right.
burger flipper there. Yeah.
I will hold that L, unfortunately. But yeah. Interesting. Cinderace comes in on Ting Lu and forces it out. How did he do
We're
that?
seeing a lot of Cinderace on ground types this week. What's going on, guys?
Giga Impact, what the fuck? Why did it die?
Bro, TDG sets are they're unpronounceable. You can't.
Unpronounceable. Yeah. That wasn't
Like,
even a crit. It's -1.
Why is there so much bullshit beneath Cinderace? Normal, -1, must recharge. What's going on?
No one has ever seen this combination before.
Never been
Alright,
seen.
this does give a free switch into Ogerpon, which is faster than Cinderace. Just goes
Well,
for
and-
an Ivy Cudgel. Makes sense.
And
Yeah,
I
you're
see,
adamant.
I see that, and I'm like, why is the punish to just
Attack it.
cudgel kill? Like, surely one of Torn or Ogerpon has set up, right?
Okay, I see Poison Torn. I'm like, usually on Poison Torn, that's gonna be Nasty Plot, right?
I would
Nasty
think.
Plot, Sludge Bomb, Heat Wave is so good into so many teams. This one included, right?
Well, to be fair, I mean, a late game Scarf Sludge Bomb looks pretty annoying, right?
I guess the Valiant does pressure you to be Scarf a little bit, but when you have Okie Dokie plus Ogerpon Hearth plus Jirachi, it really feels like a speed booster Valiant is not like gonna be
Right.
game ending. So I don't know. Either way, Cinderace goes down. Lander's the response to Ogerpon. Ivy Cudgel does a lot. This reveals to be not max defense Landorus. Probably just max HP from that damage, but another Ivy Cudgel into the Slowking. Pulls up the red card, forces into Jirachi, and we're just going to switch to Ting Lu. Essentially trying to catch like a Scald on weakness policy. Is that it? No weakness policy. He's just... okay, sure. Spike goes up. Valiant in. No booster, so it's probably going to be Life Orb in a matchup like this. Close Combat comes out, and Ting Lu just freaking dies. Yeah, Life Orb Valiant, one of the best breakers in the tier, and that shows why they're the Close Combat, just a KO.
I'm not gonna lie, I always hear people saying shit like, oh, Valiant is fraud, Valiant's fallen off. Guys, just run Life Orb 3 attack. Just run Life Orb Valiant. Don't waste time with booster energy. Don't waste time with screens. And just click Life Orb attacks. And put Destiny Bond on it too. Because a lot of times the way you have to revenge and respond to it is with something slower that actually threatens a KO. And you can just clip that off with D-Bond. I feel like Valiant should always be getting like 2 kills a game.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Here's his 1 kill. We'll see if TDG keeps up the quota. Okie Dokie going to be the U-turn recipient off of that Torn on Rotom interaction, and now threatening a close combat. But Rotom is faster, confident about that. Going to go for the Volt Switch into the Slowking, which will eat up that CC very easily. Slowking is Terra Ghost, which is interesting. We see another Chilly Reception, just getting that momentum into the Moltres. Moltres is Terra Flying, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah, Terra Flying, so can't really remove like a Meteor Beam weakness here, and Jirachi, you have no info on it, so TG gonna scout that out, go back into the Slowking, trying to catch a Meteor Beam, instead gonna catch a Body Slam, but no para. Here the rocks go up as we Terra Ghost and T-Wave. Interesting to see, why are we Terra Ghosting there? I don't think it really gets you anything.
I think the main draw, there's 2 things, right? So you get immunity to close combat from Okie Dokie, and I think that by the way they're playing it, it's probably choiced. The other advantage is that if Torn goes poison, you have a typing that actually resists like a boosted Sludge Bomb.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, Overpower
And see,
actually
this
gets
is
the KO with Trail.
This is why I'm confused. Like when Cinderace was recharging on Giga Impact, why didn't you at least Trailblaze? Like at least you would force out some kind of more offensive response instead of...
Well, I think the idea is the response is Lando anyways, and you can't really stay in very comfortably anyways. But I guess it would cover something like a Scarf Lando better, so like there's no reason not to, besides not revealing information, which is, I guess, fair, right?
It's probably just nitpicking, and as you've said, perhaps it's better to conceal that information, right?
Now Moltres comes in, goes for the Sucker Punch, knocks out the Ogerpon, and it took rocks with Sucker, so that makes me think this probably is not set up Moltres then. We didn't save the Terra for it, so we're not interested in hard-hitting Hurricanes into the Torn.
What the item is.
Yeah. Is it Citrus? I feel like Citrus would be even HP, though. It took an odd number from rocks. Correct.
Yeah.
Is it like AV? I don't know. Here's the Gunk Shot. The Terra Ghost coming in clutch would have resisted that hit. So it shows what I know. Here's a Scald into the Jirachi. But Jirachi does outspeed through the para. Looks for the flinch, doesn't get it. So it's Chilly Reception into Iron Valiant. It looks like we will be getting our 2 kills per game. As Jirachi down.
Did we confirm item on Slowking?
Red card. It was real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now Torn in should be ripping that Sludge Bomb here. Knocks out the Valiant. And now? Who's checking this Torn? I guess it's Slowking. You have T-Wave. Can click it here. As Okie Dokie going to be the response. Oh, catches with a Psychic. That would have covered both because it is a poison type on the Torn. But after the region, I think you live 1, right? But yeah, that's going to put you in Sucker range. As well as Rotom Frost probably lives the Heat Wave from that range. Yeah, going to go to Rotom Frost. Takes rocks is probably Scarf then? Like it goes down. Is that Scarf Torn then? Moltres in? Goes for Sucker, yeah. So, sacked a few mons at the end, but was always in a winning position. So TDG gonna bring the series to 3-4 now. Am I getting that right? For the deciding game 8?
Correct.
All right, deciding game 8. Nature's Guardians would love a win here. It would really bolster their playoff position. Whereas the Judgment Day, they really wanted a win, to be honest. Like a draw here, You need so many things to go your way in week 7 to make playoffs that like you're basically eliminated already. But at least there's still a little bit to play for, right? You can play spoiler to Nature's Guardians. There is that very slim chance that you can sneak into playoffs if you get this draw. So Bobbert still going to try his best to win. And Pyro using this Steel Afeni team once again. This is a Mega Camerupt, if I believe. Yeah, it is a Mega Camel.
There's a lot to unpack in this game.
Yes, there is.
There's a lot of turns that are just like so much going on, but we'll get into that.
Right. Deciding game 8, Feeney's going to lead off into the Swampert. We saw this one already in the Gen 8 game, but definitely going to be different sets on both of these Pokemon for here. See, rocks up from a very fast Swampert as Nature's Madness goes off. It's actually Endeavor Swampert. So maybe this is just the same AV Swampert as before. No, the rocks go up. Okay.
Oh, the AV rocks. Nice
yeah,
comms.
Typical.
Moron.
I said maybe. Okay, chill on me.
Fucking idiot.
Here, the rocks go up. Swampert able to maintain rocks here, and crucially, this Feeney is not in Super Berry range. It will be after
also
rocks.
importantly, having Brian, right? Because I'm not 100% sure Surf gets Swampert at 29, but Brian is a really nice tech to pair with Nature's Madness. I've actually used like AV Feeney a couple times.
Yeah,
and a lot of times I like teching on Brian because like once you drop him to 50, then you get that 130 base power move, no drawback. It's kind of OP.
Kind of just Thanos, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're able to get rocks up, because Nature's Madness does round down. Get rocks up, it always puts it in range. But yeah, good stuff. Now Serperior gains an entry point, but Serp, not the biggest problem ever when you have something like the Steela to come in, which is going to come in immediately for Pyro. So Leaf Storm comes out, but Serp doesn't die in one hit to anything besides a Z move, so it is going to take the +2 hidden power. And Heavy Slam comes out only to 65, which is a lot of damage, but the Serp is going to win this 1v1. So instead, Pyro's going to switch out to the Nihilego, catches that hidden power fire, it looks like. And now Uxie can be the pivot in, and Uxie looks to be max special defense, or something close to it. Gonna fire off that U-turn with rocks up. Donphan comes in, trying to get the spin off, but no, not gonna be allowed to do that.
Important to note, I mean, Pyro not only has the numbers advantage, but also we can presumably say that this is Scarf and Nihilego. There's no rock resist left, right?
Yeah.
So Uxie is kind of the only thing holding that back, and every time you switch in, you're slowly, getting lower and lower. I guess since this is Usum, you can cheat, you can use a Hyper Potion mid-battle, but like there is always a win path for Pyro, that being the Power Gem. So
yeah. Here, a Leaf Storm comes out, but the Donphan is actually Rindo Berry, allowing it to live this one hit and fire back with a Gunk Shot, killing the Serperior through the Kibia Berry. And so that big threat from earlier, like, is now completely dead. But
I mean,
he
that
had to
being
trade
said,
his entire
Serp got a lot.
Donphan for it.
Yeah, Serp got a lot done. You got Donphan at
Steela-
15, and the Steela's completely out of the game, basically.
Yeah.
So.
This is really good progress for that Scizor in the back. If it is Swords Dance, now the final roadblock is really like figuring out this Persian set and the Thundurus. And like that feels doable, right? You have a Coco, which is, I'm looking at it like, how do you beat the Coco if not like AV Thundurus? Maybe like you can pivot Nihilego like 1 or 2 times, but the Uxie's still healthy enough where you can do that a couple times and be okay with it as Bobbert. Here, Dazzling Gleam is going to pick up the KO on Donphan, no spin to be seen, and now Thundurus is going to be the response rather than the Nihilego. Doesn't want to play around with maybe a Kiwi Berry Coco, whereas like an AV Thundurus. I was looking at this matchup, like AV Thundurus is just Thanos. Like you are bulkier versus Coco and Serp, and you just hit everything with your coverage moves. So your Camerupt is going to come in on the Sludge Wave. Now Thundurus is probably packing Hidden Power Water in this match. You're going to see Camerupt. Mega Evolve barely lives the Hidden Power Water, but it does survive. And what does it do? It goes for a Roar. It gets that Rocks chip on the Thundurus, but also, very crucially, Rocks chip on the Persian. Now this Persian is now, you look at it like, as long as you can keep Rocks up, +2 Scizor, the only thing stopping it is like a healthy Persian. And even then, like it could be potentially in range pretty soon. Your knockoff, gonna get rid of the Camerupt, but this is gonna allow the Coco in, and Feeney is gonna be the switch in. It feels like Feeney maybe not the correct sack here. I would have loved to see like a hard switch to Nihilego. Felt like the Dazzling Gleam was coming there, but yeah. Here now you're gonna go Nihilego after taking chip on the Feeney. Feels like finding a defog opportunity to allow your Persian to always be out of range of +2 Bullet Punch was really valuable here, as well as keeping your Thundurus at high HP, but instead we're just going to toss away our Feeny HP for seemingly no reason. But Nihilego does find a way on the field, goes for the Sludge Wave as Uxie comes in. Going to fire off a U-turn here most likely, but going Persian, unpunished.
Something to point out too, though, like it is nice to get up the screen, but also when the Coco is calm-minded up, you kind of can't play around with it. You're pretty much forced to go for the Sludge Wave. I do think that might have been a missed opportunity to put Scizor on the field and just click like Superpower. Because
maybe.
Like Superpower into Bullet Punch should score a KO on anything that comes in. Maybe, yeah, no, because Thundurus is already at 76, right? Yeah, Superpower into Bullet Punch is just a KO guaranteed. So
yeah, I can't but help but thinking that Pyro just like instantly lost the game if a U-turn came out, right?
on this turn,
Yeah, because this puts Persian all the way down low. You go Coco, you force a KO. The only revenge to Coco is the Nihilego. And if the Nihilego knocks it out, you get the free Swords Dance opportunity. It's a 3v5, but Bobbert is on the verge of winning the game with Scizor, as you can very clearly see. Like,
right?
Celesteal at 31 is like a really big part of that. But now with this light screen up, you're going to see here, this allows the Persian to go for the Z parting shot, something very rarely seen. But that's actually going to heal up the steel. And now the opportunity for the Scizor endgame.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never seen that. At least not. Usum is probably the format I watched the least games of, but I've never seen that in an Usum game.
So you've never seen it in like a serious like tournament game, but way back in the day in like friend leagues, you used to see this like somewhat frequently with like different Z rules. Some places would just ban status Z moves, which is a very aged way of thinking. Like we don't do that anymore, you know. But yeah, Z parting shot you used to see on like fat teams. You would put Z Persian on there and you would heal back up your like Mega Venusaur or something like that. But these days, like, you don't really see it. So this is really cool. And brings back the Stila, crucially closing the door on that SD Scizor sweep. But now Coco comes in. And now, Coco with a light screen up, that's a whole nother beast, right? Because your main ways of checking Coco are special. So not only that, you're setting up Calm Minds, right? Here, a T-Bolt feels appropriate. So T-Bolt into Thundurus, that's a perfectly fine play on both sides. But with the light screen, you're able to just Calm Mind in front of this Thundurus' face. You're not really fearing anything. Like Sludge Wave, you see 39%. Not a big deal. Now, Feeney's going to come out expecting a Dazzling Gleam. Going to hit the Z move here. Would have knocked out the EV Thundurus from there. But waste the Z move. Good play from Pyronox. But now Thundurus back onto the field at 51%. Does it live the +1 hit? We're going to see Calm Mind up to +2. Now, Sludge Wave only does 28%. Do you have Roost on this, Coco? You do reveal Roost. Do you see a crit? No crit. And I think that was the only crit window that Pyro had, because now the Dazzling Gleam is going to knock out the Thundurus. Nidalego comes in. I really struggle to see if this even knocks out Coco from 52. Maybe it does, though. Maybe it does. I'm not 100% on that.
Importantly, isn't Stila healthy right now? Or am I misremembering?
Steel's at 87, yeah. We got the Z parting into it.
So I guess it really, it truly depends on what your last, or what your investment is on the
Coco.
Scizor, because, Scizor, no, because I feel like, based on the damage we saw with Superior, I want to say that's not...
It's a bulky Steel, I think.
It is bulky, right? So surely if you're fast Scizor, this should be wrapped. Like, you can just sack to Sludge move, and then you get the free SD, and you could potentially win. Well, I guess
I'm not 100% convinced, right? Because to kill the Celesteal, you would have to Superpower, right? There's no other move that gets that done. And then you're only at +1 rather than +2. And Persian surely lives that. If you had to sack your Coco to get there, Persian actually sweeps. You see?
Well, couldn't you sack Uxie and then come back in with the guy? And then
you can sack Uxie, but that's like much less of a forcing line, right? If you go Uxie, Pyro can just switch into Stila, and that kind of diffuses that situation. But that does give up a U-turn back to Coco, and the problem persists. Maybe you're trying to win through the Coco is a more reliable win path.
What I was saying is, so Sludge Wave kills Coco, you go Scizor, you SD, you Superpower on the Celesteela, then you sack Uxie to the Persian, come back in, then Superpower kills Persian, and then you Bullet Punch Nihilego. That's what I was saying. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of ways to approach this as Bobbert. Here, he's going to go
Certainly.
Uxie. He's going to take this line instead. Sludge Wave comes out, actually gets the poison, so the Uxie goes down. And that's going to allow the Scizor in, so we get to see what would have happened, right? Scizor would actually... Oh, I remember this. Doubles to Coco, catches the Steela. Really great play. Would have caught either switch, and Pyro really can't afford to give up the Nihilego in that scene. So, really heads up play from Bobber is going to award him a KO here with a T-Bolt.
And now
it's actually
it's
going to be the
basically
Steela.
Yeah, it's basically just creating the same end game that I was describing.
Yeah.
More or less. It's just the orders are flipped, right? But we go for a Hail Mary HP fire.
Yeah, this makes sense, honestly, right? If T-Bolt
does.
doesn't kill Nihilego, then you deny the
Well-
setup on Scizor, and then maybe Persian can live at 63.
It just kind of trivializes things, right? Because now you just lose your guy.
Yeah, but
don't know, I feel like-
unfortunately,
I feel-
T-Bolt
I feel
is
like-
enough.
I feel like power gemming there is fine because at the very worst, you give yourself a crit chance on Scizor, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the foul play, and there is the superpower knocks out the Persian. No, honestly, the
I feel
Scizor
like-
didn't even need to set up. You just attack what's in front of you, and you win the game.
Yeah.
Once the Steela goes down. I feel like Steela may have been the wrong sack. But also, I
Because
don't
I
think you
guess
had a
from-
winning play
well,
necessarily.
I guess from Pyro's end, if you go hard Scizor on the rock move, no, that doesn't seem
No,
like
you wouldn't
yeah,
go
I don't
hard.
know,
You
I
would
don't-
sack Coco, and you just bullet punch.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm thinking
If
you should
switched-
just power gem.
If switched to Persian, you could just superpower next turn.
Yeah, I don't know. I think power gem should have been clicked there because, like I said, at +1, you give yourself odds to potentially crit Scizor if it tries to like SD and throw the game away. You know,
I just really don't think it matters. I think Bobber had it on lock here, and that's gonna
Yeah,
tie
probably.
up the series. Yeah, it ties up the series, which is a real bummer for Nature's Guardians, right? Maybe spares a little bit of embarrassment for the Judgment Day, but man, they could have won this one so easily. It feels like multiple games just trolled in the opening. But yeah. Right.
Good shit, Judgment Day. You're still alive, barely.
Yeah. They're on life support.
They're on life support, but
Yeah.
they're still here.
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking at the time. I'm looking at we're halfway through. We're probably gonna only get through 3 series today, and then we'll finish up the last one at a following date. Maybe we'll do the Trick of Eye versus Big Dogs, which is gonna be our 4th series. We'll do that maybe after the Chicken Nugget challenge I'm doing on Thursday. Maybe before something like that. Make that a longer
you'll
stream.
You'll probably be too fat and bloated to talk, so I got you covered.
Yeah, probably before then.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of that, the Chicken Nugget Challenge on Thursday. If you want any information about that, it's in my Discord link down below. It's just a fun challenge between me, Owen, and Dell, where we're going to eat a lot of chicken nuggets and we're going to win a lot of Champions VGC games. And it's going to be a competition. The fattest moron will win, you know?
or the biggest back. Now hold on,
The
L5. I
biggest
think
back.
we have to address the elephant in the room. Are you seeing what I'm seeing on Hunter's team?
So, I see you say the elephant in the room. I see 2 elephants, but I know that you're referring to the Scovillain. Yeah. So Scovillain, this is going to be huge power from Hunters the Infected, and the other team is going to be Draft Dodgers. But huge power, they've actually been bringing Scovillain a couple times in the post mids. I think they benched it all the time pre mids, but here, this is like the second game I think that Scovillain has gotten. And unfortunately for them, it's also the second time they've failed to bring Terra Fire Choice Specs, aka the best set ever. So what is even the point? This is like Terra Fairy Scovillain, like, get a grip, bro. That shit is not good. You gotta run specs, bro. But okay. I feel like they've been letting us down. They've been making Scovillain look bad. Like, can we just bring the Thanos set? Come on. But that's all I really have to say about that one. Do you have anything?
No.
All right. So Terra types.
You guys were making a good job of making Skull villains look bad week 1 through 3. but that's all I can say.
Hey.
Whoa,
Chill on
whoa.
us.
As
The
someone
fuck?
who was featured in the diss track earlier,
Okay, you earned that one, I guess.
Wyatt, need I point to the standings right now?
I'm looking at him and I
bottom of
see
the
that my team
standings.
Chikabai has more wins than your team does actually in terms of game score.
Yep.
Yet the chasm between us remains distant.
Yeah. All right. So Terra types here. We have the aforementioned Fairy Scovillain. What the fuck? And then Fire on the Raging Bolt. Surely you just switch those, right? That's got to be the wrong way around, right? Surely. On the other side, though, we have Terra Fire Hydreigon, Terra Fairy Goldengo, and Terra Fire Alcremie. Interesting. A lot of fire and fairy this week.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at this matchup. Surely a Terrifier Specs Scovillain just like farms,
It
right?
kills everything.
Like literally, you just overheat everything.
Literally. These guys, they don't know how to use it, bro. They should
don't
watch
have
my
all.
seasonal run. I just spammed Specs Terrifier and it O-coded Entei, bro. Like,
I also remember when you were on like one of AIM's like what was it? It was like the early champions OU thing, and you had that Scovillain team. That shit was hot.
yeah.
They
That's
just
a
don't know
OG Albina video.
Yep.
But yeah, let's get into the game. Screamtail gonna lead off into the Quillfish. So good lead for the Screamtail, I guess. You're kind of threatening Psychic. So Quillfish probably wants to get out of there. Doesn't want to get out of there. Instead, just going to T-Spike up as a Calm Mind gets clicked. Now threatening a +1 Psychic. So Quillfish probably wants to get out of there now. This time going to go to the Goldango. Another Calm Mind is clicked. So Screamtail quickly getting out of hand here. Quillfish back in on a light screen. So again, threatening the Psychic as Deoxys comes in. Another Calm Mind. Just Hunter refuses to attack and he's boosting to the moon. Deoxys in. Can go for a taunt potentially, but goes for a light screen instead. And 34.
Yep.
So it gets the light screen up and now Quillfish can come in, but another Calm Mind. So +4, Dazzling Gleam does 30 to Quillfish and pulls up its red card. Screamtail is literally horrible. What the fuck? Draco's going to come out, but thanks to light screen, Quillfish does survive. Lays up a spike, so multiple layers going up for the Quillfish. You do have that spin block opportunity. Here's that Great Tusk coming in, but Alcremie in. So you could spin here, but if you just go for like the Alluring Voice, Alcremie would trade the Tusk for that. Maybe that's worth it now that the Raging Bolt is already poisoned. Like that's the main thing you want the T-Spike for anyways. But instead we're going to go to Goldango on the Rock's turn, not the spin. So Hunter just goes with a guaranteed value there. But here Quillfish can get sacked off. You spin block without risking your Goldango there, so nice play from Helm.
While also simultaneously stalling out the Great Tusk,
Yes.
getting that extra chip. It's quite nice.
And also getting an entry point for Thanos, aka Deoxys. With a Psycho Boost, Superpower, you don't really switch into that combination, because as we saw, Screamtail does not beat this 1v1. Here's that Psycho Boost, knocks out the Great Tusk, and there is no spin available anymore. Weavile gonna come in, takes the T-Spike, so probably Choice Banded Weavile. It's actually Choice Scarf, gonna outspeed and knock out the Deoxys, locks into the knockoff, but now that's gonna allow Alcremie to come in, and that should be a setup turn here. Ninetale's gonna come in, but the Alcremie does have, it says no ability here, but what is it, Sweet Veil that's called?
Yeah,
Immune
you can't be Encore.
to Encore.
Yep.
So another Calm Mind comes out, but Ninetales has the tech Roar. Gonna deny that win path for the Alcremie, at least for now. Gets the Great Tusk on the field. And now Weatherball comes out, but this is that Assault Vest Great Tusk? I feel like it has to be to take 48 from that. Gets the spin off.
So, something to point out there if you go back, like, in this exchange, if instead you were Healing Wish here and you just click that, can't you just go into, like, Specs Scovillain and just force a kill?
Yeah, force a
probably
kill
just
or
win the
3.
game? Yeah, or 3, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just over.
Well,
but-
they just aren't that set, right? You saw the Terra Fairy. Terra Fairy means
Oh.
they want to be, like, growthing up on a Hydreigon or something. Like, come on, bro.
So, not real plays. got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a Rapid Spin. Gets rid of the rocks. And Ninetales can come in to reset the sun later, so instead we're going to go to our Screamtail. Gets the Proto Speed, should still outspeed the Tusk, but AV I don't think you kill, because Screamtail is horrible and very bad. Sorry, low QP.
Bro, I think we need to ban T-Spikes. This shit is broken. I've been seeing this so many times this week.
Yeah. Tusk is going to get that Heavy Slam KO. Now Weavile comes in, going to go for that Ice Shard, locks it in. But locking in an Ice Shard, and now you don't have that Roar anymore from the Ninetales. Here's the Terrifier, and just a wrap.
I mean, I'm not an expert, but surely staying in an Ice Sharding is not correct, right?
I don't think you got a good play, right? He was stalling out the last
mean-
Sun turn, so he could reset it with Ninetales, and then now you have your Raging Bolt or Scovillain.
All I know is
Is
that
the
this
growth.
Alcremie fellow absolutely needs to be raised in points, right?
Probably, yeah.
Like, this shit cannot be 1 point anymore. And obviously, like, it's not a very good Pokemon, but
Good job,
the
Scovillain.
tools it brings to the tool it brings to the table of having Encore immunity, like, that's a crazy utility to have in a format like SV, because I feel like the main way people keep shit in check is with Encore.
Yeah, on
Or at least setup
Coruscant,
threats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy got to be more than 1 point. It's
Yeah.
still a piece of shit, but like, come
Shout
on.
out to Astro J, and who invented Alcremie way back in the day.
I mean, it literally has everything it needs, right? It's got recovery, it's got setup on both spectrums, like Iron Defense or Calm Mind. Like,
Yeah.
can't be that bad.
So unlucky. Brutal hacks at the end. Come on.
Many such cases.
And hell, I'm going to take that game 1. Draft Dodgers going up 1-0 in the series as we go on to game 2, which is going to be Chess versus Toxic. Now, Toxic currently undefeated, looking to maintain that streak going into week 7. So currently 5-0, and has to play Chess. Now, Chess is using this team that I really love. This, like, Lando, AG, Pex, Lottie, Scrafty we've seen before. I think we had something else other than the Raikou on that DCL team like a year and a half ago, I want to say.
It was Double Steel. It was Cobalion is what you're
Yeah,
thinking of, I think.
Cobalion, yeah. But I really love that structure. It also had a Volcarona on there, one of my favorite Pokemon. But yeah, here you see a little bit of a modern twist on it with the Rako. Yeah, really strong team. So if Toxic wants to beat this, he's going to have to do his homework. But yeah. You see the Melmetal Weavile combination. Good stuff. Proven core. And let's get into the game. Raku going to lead off into that Uxie. So Rock's probably just going to go up in exchange for a Volt Switch. It reveals
Why did we
specially defensive Uxie.
Why did we manifest Jimmy G there?
Wait. Yeah, I mean, someone had to do it, right? Spit off Uxie should just get up the rocks. Oh, it's actually a tricky barb there. Gonna put Sticky Barb on the Landers here, and we're gonna trade rocks. Pretty ceremonious. But now Landers is on a timer.
Okay, I actually want to talk about this. So
I do as well.
Like,
yeah.
keep this Tricky Barb in mind, because there's a turn that comes up later, and I still don't have an explanation for it. I actually was watching Dashing Kev's coverage of the series, and he pointed it out, and I was like, wait, he's actually right. But we'll get to it soon.
So here, Landers goes for knockoff, which is a great play because once you remove the Yachi Berry from Uxie, if this Uxie goes for a U-turn, it just steals back the Sticky Barb, which is exactly what you're going to see here. The U-turn, and now Landers no longer has the Sticky Barb.
That's okay. That explains it.
You see here, it doesn't take damage.
Yes, I missed that.
So-
Okay, yeah, because you got rid of the item and it takes it back.
Yeah, really fantastic move from the Landers there. Weavile in, but we have a Scrafty for this very reason. Boots Weavile, so it's probably going to be Swords Dance in the Toxapex matchup, but here you get the Rocky Helmet chip. Knockoff going to remove it, so you only get that one Rocky Helmet, but better than nothing. Now, Super Fang, another Rocky Helmet, the best item ever aside from Choice Scarf.
Yeah, to be fair, for those people looking to thwart this seemingly undefeatable team by Toxic, there's like nothing has immediate recovery, or like the guys that have immediate recovery don't want to run recovery. So shit like Dragonite, right? Celebi, I'm not gonna lie, it's a fraud. It's here for some reason, which is cool, I guess. But like shit like Nature's Madness Super Fang is like really strong into the Weavile Melmetal Uxie cores because they don't have like long-term sustain.
Yeah, you have to imagine the Celebi is there because he's struggling into Toxapex a little bit too much. Right, you see Scald Toxic, it's just 6-0s this draft, so Celebi gives you much needed relief into that combination while threatening Psychic. Maybe even setting Future Sights and U-turning, like that feels pretty strong as well, in combination with Primarina.
Bulky plot could be good too, right? I feel like your team does a good job of
Yeah,
handling
there's
Latios.
lots of like reasonable Celebi sets that can take advantage of Toxapex here, as well as like it's pretty reasonable into the Latios, the Raikou, stuff like that. Earthquake resist, although you get hit by U-turn. Yeah, reasonable
Raikou.
Pokemon here. Here you see a Sing go a little bit to the left on Raikou.
Bro,
You know-
okay. This shit pisses me off, bro. Why does Toxic keep doing this? Like, he's actually an asshole, bro. He loads up into these games with these fucking moves that are, like, inaccurate. And just, like, he's not punished.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating, bro. It's so
He just
frustrating.
don't give a bep. Doesn't connect
He
there,
doesn't
so
give a
Melmetal forced to take the T-Bolt into the Volt Switch. Does quite a lot of damage as Landers comes in, but Sticky Barb, it's removed, so
As
it's
we
not going to
mentioned.
die here.
Correct.
And able to threaten a U-turn, so Uxie going to come in. But this U-turn, it is going to steal back the Sticky Barb in that interaction, but it's dead to rocks anyways, so it doesn't really matter,
So-
but just throwing it out there.
Nobody is the wiser.
He stole
Yeah,
it back.
only us.
Yeah. It almost feels like I'm explaining Zoroark interactions with Illusion and like switching who it disguises as mid game. It's one of those things. Right now, Pex is going to be the like switch in there.
I just think
Probably
it's
wants to
interesting that
avoid Weavile getting a free switch, but I don't know.
But we're electing to go Mel. Didn't, like, Toxic had free choice of what he goes to here, right?
Yeah, could have gone Celebi quite
I
comfortably.
think Celebi, but I guess from his perspective, like letting in Latios, maybe it's a little scary, but not really. I feel like this team is really well equipped for Latios.
I don't think Latios beats Celebi unless it's Calm Mind, which Calm Mind Latios is definitely like insane.
Well,
versus
you say Latios
Weavile,
doesn't beat Celebi,
Mel-
but I say
Melly.
Celebi doesn't beat Latios. You know what I mean? They're kind of at a
Yeah.
standstill. I guess Thunderwave, right, is better for Celebi if you got that, which is like totally reasonable into this team. You catch Aegislash, that makes Melmetal faster than it. You catch Latios, now it's like a
I feel
useless
like
piece
it
of
would
shit.
probably be something like Future Sight, the Latios Dracos or something. You recover it off and then you slow U-turn. Like
Sure.
pretty good. Well,
That's
either
reasonable,
way,
yeah.
this is where we're at. Melly comes in and then switches to Celebi. Could have just gone Celebi in the first place. Instead, going to
That's
take
what I'm saying.
rocks on
Yeah.
Melmetal and chip on Celebi and a burn. What was the point? And then we're doubling back to Mel, trying to catch the Lottie. Catches Toxic, so we're really deep in the waffle iron here. Scald comes out, doesn't get the burn. As Earthquake, like, is it 2-hit KO?
I'm not gonna lie, you get burned there, I think the game's over.
I think it's
but
really cooked, yeah. Like, how are you
it's
breaking the
incredibly,
facts?
it's insanely cooked, yeah.
But here, Aegislash
here-
comes out. Goes for close
And
combat.
for-
Mel actually
for-
dies to that.
It's banded. That's the only way it kills.
Yeah.
So Toxic knows this. He can go into Dragonite now, and you pretty much have a guaranteed kill lined up because you see no rocks or you see no boots on Dragonite. You can pretty safely assume this shit is like choice scarf or choice band, right? So
Yeah.
down goes Latios, which is fair. I mean, it allows Aegislash back in, but the problem is because you're banded Aegislash, unless you're head smash, you don't actually threaten this with a kill. So you're gonna see Shadow Claw come out, but Dragonite's natural bulk just gonna be able to tank that hit. You get another kill with the outrage again. So
The shield form.
devastating.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now Raku comes in. Dragonite reveals to be Scarf from this damage, but actually hits itself before the Raikou moves. So unlucky there, but yeah. I think Weavile can come in. Scrafty's still at 73, so could potentially see a double here to Primarina, or maybe you don't even have to make that play. You just attack what's in front of you, because you remove the helmet. Triple Axle's pretty free. So Scrafty takes that. We'll take the next one, though, so Primarina switch out. Gonna be the move. No poison jab though, so this Rocky Helmet, and now Primarina is alive and well, able to go for something like a Moonblast, forcing that Toxapex, but crucially keep this Scrafty very low. It's a Surf instead, same thing. But Pex actually, it's not the same thing because Surf is actually boosted by Torrent, which means Pex actually 2-hit KO'd from that range. Gonna be forced to sack the Raikou. Okay, we Psychic for the love of the game, so we're not forced to sack the Raikou at all.
Well, to be fair, based on that damage, Raikou is definitely AV.
Yeah, I would have lived the Surf, but it would have been like Rock's Ranger close to it. Now Weavile comes in,
Correct.
goes for a knockoff. Scrafty comes in, could go for an Axel dodge here, which could potentially be game winning, but does connect both of them. And now Pex in, we have a Celebi. We also have Swords Dance on Weavile, so potential for a Scald Burn here. Oh, I think even a Scald Burn might not save you unless you're oh, the misses a Gunk Shot. Wait, did that matter?
Yes.
Oh
Because
yeah,
two guns
because
kills.
and you have Signal Beam for the Celebi. If that's not
Signal Beam doesn't exist in Gen 8.
oh, so yeah, the Celebi was probably fine.
Celebi probably still. Well, it depends on what the Celebi set is, right? If it's not running Psychic Move, which it absolutely should be, maybe Pex can be
It should be Earth
but-
Power into Aegis Slash. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
The
it
thing
didn't
is,
matter.
I-
Like a poison
think-
would
well,
have been game ending, maybe.
It depends. It depends heavily on what the Celebi's investment is and what its moves are, because theoretically Raikou can just Shadow Ball twice, right?
Yeah, but it's coming in at 32. You have to imagine Earth Power, even from like a bulky Celebi. 32,
No.
it feels like it should do that, right?
Maybe I'll run the calc.
It's base 100. It's not weak.
It's not weak, but also Raikou with AV is like kind of tanky.
I don't know. We just don't have any information on it.
But we know it's AV for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says no. Like I said, no special attack does 27 to 32 to Raikou. That's no bulk Raikou, by the way. That Raikou definitely had like 76
Yeah.
HP or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So it does 25 to 30, we'll say. So yeah, no, you definitely you can just fish for Shadow Ball Spin F drops. So
Yeah,
like
maybe-
Chess wasn't completely out of it. That Gunk Miss definitely matters.
Yeah, for sure. Looking back at that. But also,
Yeah.
I want to mention like the Psychic, completely unnecessary, right? Into the Raikou pivot
Right.
when we could have just surfed.
Well, we can also talk about how the Sing was completely unnecessary, and if we just clicked a 100% accurate attack, it means that the Celebi always beats the Raikou in the end,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if we get hit by gunshot.
Lots
but,
of
you
ways
know,
to win that, right? But
we like to sing. We like
we
to
went for
get
the
musical,
cinematic win. Yeah.
of course.
All right, now we have Count Riario versus iPro. Keep the sides consistent here. Yeah. iPro for huge power and Count Riario for the draft Dodgers. Count Riario actually used to be on huge power, right? Then we just dropped at mids.
I believe so. Yes.
So,
So he's got some vengeance.
a little bit of a
vengeance here.
revenge story here. Because he
Yeah.
was undefeated at the time and then got dropped. So,
That's kind
Yeah.
of insane to me. Why would you
I
drop
know.
an undefeated player, right? Like that
Uh,
just doesn't track.
he just didn't vibe with the team server. Like, he was winning his games, but, like, actively hating it, you know? And they're like, hey,
Okay, that makes sense.
alright. But iPro versus Riario in Gen 7. Let's get
I mean,
into
both
it.
of these are both great players in this format, so should be a good one.
Lantern Greninja. So, see a U-turn immediately into the stun fist, catches a Toxic. Pretty safe click there considering the only immunity is Skarm. But now Fisk probably going to get the rocks up as Crocodile probably going to trade them. Gardevoir makes the pivot in. This is Mega Gardevoir, so is able to fire off a Hyper Voice here, potentially even catching the Heatran. Does catch the Heatran with a Hidden Power Ground. Is a Scarf Heatran? Not going to stay in to find out. Going to switch to Greninja. Yeah, it looks like it was Scarf Heatran. And now Gren should be able to force this out. Just for Water Stricken though, and Lantern takes that as a healing opportunity. Is not Volt Absorb. Makes sense in the in this matchup. Or a Scald, but actually burns the Garchomp on the switch. No safe switch into the Lantern, and we are going to get punished there. Still though, does beat the Lantern 1v1 with the Earthquake, so we're going to pivot to Crocodile on the Sword Stance, trying to get big here. But Crocodile should be okay here. A critical hit, but foul play will finish it off.
Honestly, kind of justice, right, for the burn.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Now Guard comes in for another round. Should just be a Heatran sack here. Goes hard Mawile. This is going to do like 60%. Okay, not 60,
Yeah.
but 45.
This
God
can't
damn,
be right.
no. You can't do that.
Surely we just let go of the Pokemon that dies to rock. right?
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta. Are we holding on to like some hope of like defog Latios? Surely not, right? Oh, no, it's probably for like Healing Wish or like Lunar Dance Cresselia. Like maybe I can bring back the Heatran. The Greninja's chipped.
yeah, I
And
guess
that's
'cause Fire
definitely the
Move
thought
would clean up.
process. Yeah.
Sure,
With Chomp
sure.
going down, I get it. But now the Mawile
Yeah.
is going to pay the price, right? You have a Skarmory, so just go to it on the Thunder Fang. So iPro makes the prediction, gets it right. Is the Mawile faster than Skarm? Not going to stay in to find out. So probably a Trick Room.
I think based on the Hyper Voice damage, we can confidently say the Mawile is max HP. Because otherwise,
Yeah,
it should be taking way more from that.
Here's the T-Bolt, knocks it out. Greninja comes in. If this is Kolb or Lottie, could be in for bad time. So it goes for the U-turn, scouts the Kolb or Lottie, catches the Crook as well into Gardevoir. Really great play from Riario. And now it's like a Scarf Crook, is that? Or is that... No, this is
No.
a bulky Croak, but this even slower on the Gardevoir.
Correct.
Alright, so mix that trade. Now Latios comes in. Does Latios kill this? Probably with Shadow Ball, right? So Stunfisk going to be the switch in. Here's the Z move. So Z, Z Shadow Ball.
Makes
Stunfisk
sense.
eats that up, like 38.
Like it's
Goddamn.
like it's its fucking job. Yeah.
Now Discharge comes out, pairs the Crest, so the Lunar Dance no longer guaranteed at least. Stunfisk eats the Hyper Potion, and now Necrozma comes in, potentially trying to set up on the Cresselia. You see a Moonlight. Here's a substitute. Do we see a T-Wave? There is a T-Wave, so it gets the sub up on the T-Wave, and now Signal Beam not setting up, so this is probably just offensive sub 3 attacks then.
Yep.
But gets the Lunar Dance, but not into the Heatran, into the Maul. So this Heatran, yeah, you're really looking silly not sacking it earlier now. But gets the Sucker Punch off, breaks the sub, but Earth Power, huge damage to the Mawile, and now it's Sucker Mind Games, and Riaru gets it.
To be fair, it could be potentially set up Necrozma, just because I'm looking at what was brought. Doesn't Signal Beam Earth Power hit everything for super effective? Like literally all 6 Pokemon.
Let's see what's on the bench. There's a
I'm just talking about what was
Crobat.
brought.
There's a Crobat on the
Yeah,
bench,
okay.
so surely
Alright.
this is Photon Geyser.
Surely it has
Yeah.
Psychic. Yeah, fair enough.
I guess the sub now. A switch to Lottie on the Earth Power makes a lot of sense. You want to break the sub. Although, low-key, I probably should have just broken it with Sucker and then Revenged with Lottie, right? Maybe that doesn't kill from
Surely.
39 through Prism Armor, but I find that hard to believe. Now another sub. Does Lantern break the sub? It doesn't break the sub! Oh, and this is a
Devastating.
Necrozma goobing.
Yep.
Oh my
That Earth
god.
Power is incredibly free. Good thing we brought all of our extra Hyper Potions to the battle.
Yeah. Always
Shoutouts
one
to
in the back
Broken Berry.
pocket.
Yep.
And now preserves it just for the love of the game.
Well,
Just
to
Stunfisk.
be fair, I mean, Mawile still looks really good in this endgame, right? Like, you've got priority for the other Pokemon, you know?
Low key, if that Swords Dance there and got the Sucker on Greninja, didn't you? Oh no, it's Water Shuriken. You were okay.
Yeah.
But like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, it still looks decent, but we're going to see Healing Wish, and that's going to
Oh,
completely
Thanos
change
is back.
Because not only do you have that potential to outplay, you can also just
Get the odds,
fish for the
yeah.
para. Yeah. So unfortunate double para, but it truly didn't even matter. Sub there again is fucking insane. Surely a
Yeah.
misclick.
Yeah,
Like that's actually one way to lose the game. It's got to be a
Yeah.
misclick.
really. The game's done.
Really cool guard set though. Healing Wish to bring back Necrozma was amazing. It
Yeah.
seemed like there was definitely a game plan here with like, spread some paralysis with Stunfisk. That's going to create windows of opportunity for Necrozma to just like find these free substitutes, and then having the Savage spin out is really nice because normally Cresselia can just sit there and heal on Signal Beam infinitely, but Signal Beam into the Savage spin out is a great way to remove that piece, and that just seemed like the prep was really strong from Count's end.
Yeah, for sure. And he played it very well as well. I think he got most of those Sucker Punch plays correct with the sub.
Yep.
And didn't risk it when he didn't need to. All right. So that is going to be 2-1 for the Draft Dodgers, right? Yeah, 2-1. And now we go into game 4, Josh versus Money Guy. I mean, Josh, one of the best ORAS players. Money Guy, not a slouch in the tier, but definitely not considered one of the top echelon. So you would expect Josh to have an advantage in this one. But if you look at the Mega Gallade, this Pokemon is really hard for Josh to deal with. I guess you have the Torn and the Uxie, but those are really important T-Wave targets, especially the Torn for the Zapdos. So you can't really freely click U-turn with Zap or into the Zap. So maybe you see Lumberry on the Torn, maybe with Acrobatics as well. That could be
I'm not
good prep.
Because I'm not gonna lie, somehow we uniquely have a team that's super weak to Tangela. I feel like Stun Spore is incredibly free.
It
Maybe
is.
the way you alleviate that is you run something like Heal Bell Uxie, but Uxie has a lot of tasks on its hand, right? It's got to deal with Gallade. It's got to deal with other stray status and things like that. So I feel like it's really hard to reliably keep the team cleared of status when you've got so many jobs to do, right? Potentially rocks. So
Yeah,
kinda
it's like
tough.
Rocks, Gallade, and then maybe Chomp, EQ, Resist kind of thing. But okay, let's get into the game. Garchomp gonna lead off into the Uxie, so probably just lead Rocks on both sides with Rocks and Rocks. Cool, so this could be HP Ice on the Uxie, it would not surprise me, but instead it's a U-turn. Now we're taking Rough Skin and Toxic. Already the Uxie is starting to get low, Gallade's starting to get opened up. Keldeo in, though, reveals Leftovers, so we're going to go Tentacruel on the Calm Mind. And here, Josh is going to reveal the tech of Taunt, prevents the Haze Tentacruel from doing its thing. And so now you can just Calm Mind to the moon with Leftovers. Even if you get Sludge Bomb poisoned, it's not the end of the world. You're still only losing health at 6% per turn. And if you don't get the poison, yeah, it's just Thanos. Now you're at +3/+3. Zapdos comes in. You really need the Zapdos dead for your Torn, for your Drill. So this Scald here, really important chip. Very nearly puts it in Rock's range.
The thing is, you could probably avoid what's about to happen here, because when you see the taunt go off on Tentacruel, you should immediately be going into the Zapdos. Like, giving an extra turn to Calm Mind. Like, yeah, you're fishing for the poison. What does the poison actually achieve, though?
Yeah, it just
you know what I
doesn't-
mean? Like, it doesn't actually net you anything. Like, that's just, oh, fuck, I got called out. Maybe I can get lucky. It's like, no, you gotta... When you see this stuff, you cannot be fucking around. Because now we're gonna see, from Josh's end, you can just click Scald. And, like, this guy just dies. And I don't know. I feel like you can live a +2. But I don't think you can live a +3.
Not
you know
+3, yeah. Now you're forced to
So
go Klefki and T-Wave.
So you're able to, like, neutralize the Keldeo, but we just sacked our Mega, and we just basically lose our keys. But we're going to see some good fortune come Money Guy's way, because I'm pretty sure he gets 3 pairs in a row. It's pretty fucking diabolical.
Yeah.
I'm sure Josh was raging at that.
Yeah, he's like, "Arr," shaking his fist.
I know my boy, he's mad as fuck.
Yeah.
But we're going to see a little bit of a clutch burn, so turning the tides a little bit more in Josh's favor. But still a very uphill battle for Money Guy at this point.
Yeah, gets the rocks off, which is nice. But now, like, you look at it, like, Uxie has one less job to do. Like, checking the Glade, not a problem anymore. So you have to imagine rocks are going back up eventually.
And the good thing here too is that if Uxie is Healbell, then it feels like what the fuck do you do as Money Guy? Like, your two of your best ways to pressure the Uxie are basically out of the game, the keys and the Gallade. So it's gonna be brutal.
Yeah, here's that Uxie opportunity on the Stun Spore, but you're already toxic, so should be a rocks opportunity. You could see Tentacruel come in trying to spin immediately, but instead a Leech Seed comes out. There's no Leech immunity, so Tangela in a good position here. Can fire off a Stun Spore because Uxie cannot physically stay in there. It's illegal. But goes for a Leech Seed instead, so Torn able to switch in for free. Feels like a missed opportunity there. Now Garchomp comes in on the U-turn, so some rough skin. Torn's not going to reach him to full, but it's going to be damn close. And T-Tar comes in. T-Tar in on the Chomp is definitely a strange one. You're going to take a huge Earthquake, and the Yachi Berry Chomp able to deal with that.
If you look at it from Josh's perspective, like, I kind of
Didn't
understand
have
wanting to make
much,
this
I
trade.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah, like, Chomp is one of the last annoying pieces you need to get damage on. And, like, obviously, Yachi probably wasn't expecting that. But also, even if that's the case, like, Garchomp's in range of 2 U-turns. As weird as it sounds, the only thing this Garchomp really was useful for was going to be, like, trying to put damage onto the Tangela. But also, you're just going to get Stun Spored. You're going to get Giga Drained. So, like, what is T-Tar actually doing? I guess from his perspective, if you weaken the Chomp, doesn't that open up your Excadrill so much more?
It does, yeah. So I do agree with it in hindsight, yeah. Taking the trade, like, Garchomp is the only threat left, and you don't need your T-Tar to win. Like, Sand is nice, but you don't need it. We're just going to swap to Uxie, which I think is probably not it.
Another little thing to note, too, is, like, okay, you know, the passivity of Tangela can be abused because at worst, you will be able to find a spin opportunity for the drill. So while it looks like your T-Tar is dead to rocks, like in this next turn here, we're going to see Josh go for a spin. You can set up that Sand again later on.
Another Stun Spore dodge as well, though.
And that one's probably a lot more big, I would say, right? Because I very much doubt Excadrill was Lumberry, and Uxie is gone, so that pair would have been forever.
You turn on the Tentacruel, taking rocks and burn, and that U-turn. Now Gardevoir comes in, threatening like a Scarf Psychic here. Tangela is going to be the response, but the grand reveal is substitute lefties Gardevoir.
Tangela on Gardevoir can't be right.
I get it, because like if it's Scarf Guard, this is your only way of not losing a Pokemon instantly, right?
Sure.
Now to assume this is mixed defense Tangela in this matchup, just to deal with stuff like the Keldeo.
I guess that's a good point. You look at Josh's team, like, what the fuck else would be Scarf?
It looks like Scarf Guard for sure, like Healing Wish into Tar. Maybe like, you see it staying on the Garchomp, like maybe you're thinking, oh yeah, it's probably just going to Healing Wish here. Either heal off the Para on Keldeo or get the T-Tar back.
Right.
But instead it's something far more sinister.
This is kind of a brilliant set too, because if you think about it, right? Like in the off chance that it was Gardevoir in the face of Keys, you could just come in, trace Prankster. You could sub
Yeah.
on Keys, right?
Wait, that's actually so smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So it's a really good prep from Josh.
The sub on the switch. Garchomp should break the sub, but gonna go down for it. And as Gardevoir's +2/+2, I don't think it's really forced to switch out, although you can switch if you want to, just not odds max too much. So you can go Drill on Klefki, and Reflect goes up, but we have Brick Break, so it's really completely riskless. Now Tangle it in, and at this point you can literally just go Torn or sack something. Get the Gardevoir in on this Pokemon, the game's done, right?
Correct,
Here's a
correct.
U-turn into T-Tar. Yeah, there's the sack.
I think this is where Josh recognizes, yeah, let me just get guard in the field safely.
Yep. Giga Drain and show me Gardevoir. Yeah. Okay, knock off the Tangula. I mean, eventually it will happen, right? Yeah,
I guess he just, like-
pair on the Torn. Now you get a
well-
slow U-turn.
If you
And
think about it
now
though,
you get
getting rid of the
Thanos.
item, you don't even need to click sub. Like you can just save your HP this way, right? Honestly, I get it. You don't need the Torn for anything. At this point, you're actually just making the game harder for him because you're saving HP on guard. You can just rip Psychics now, right?
Yeah.
What is he supposed to do? Yeah.
So true. Like many win paths there, you could say. Zapdos comes in, but it's actually slower than the guard. Takes a Moonblast, goes down.
When have you ever seen a fucking Gardevoir be this Thanos? Like a regular guard? you
It's
know?
been a long time. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like we saw
Honestly,
some
it's
like Terra Gardevoirs pop off
Nah, it's
like a year ago, but
it's a
Not
really
Morris.
cool pick. It's a
Yeah.
really fucking cool pick. Yeah. I think we need to like explore this Pokemon more. Probably.
yeah. That was game 4. We
I
got
already know
to-
Virgil. I already know Virgil's gonna say something about wow. Glop just wanted to find a way to say explore Gardevoir. Not what I meant, bro. I just meant like we should look into the competitive viability of this Pokemon in the draft metagame.
Oh, he didn't actually say that though, so I think you
No,
were
no,
just
he
thinking
didn't.
about exploring God.
No,
You cut him
I
off.
I cut him off. He didn't even have time to finish typing.
Uh,
Well, Vergi, just in time for your game. So game 5, we go into this. I believe it's 2-2 on the series.
We got Gerbil versus Ethab. Oh man,
Gerbil versus Beethan.
that's his Kev's name, Gerbil.
Yep, Gerbil. And Gerbil rocking the ugliest shinies ever. Like, ugh. Disgusting.
Yeah, you need to die for this. When I see this, I want to vomit.
Literally, like, have some
Like,
respect.
Like no, like honestly, I'm putting you on the hot seat. Like what? Like, do you think you're tough pulling up with 6 shinies? Like, who told you that was tough? Like, I gotta know.
Nobody.
Like, was this your own decision in the builder? I left and Sierra changed all my mons to shiny. Check any other
Yeah,
game
yeah.
I've never ran shinies. All right, I feel like he's being truthful about that.
I could see it too. But okay, champions. Let's get this. Samurott Hisui leading off into the Palafin. This should just be free spikes. It's Reals, Scarf, Samurott, or at least a very slow Palafin. But probably Scarf, right? 52 offensive Samurott. Sneasler comes in. We're actually going to stay in for more spikes, get 2 layers. There's no removal on the other side. Okay, but a T-Spike comes out, and here, this is interesting, right?
Well, where do you go to as Gerbil? Like, you can't go Empoleon, right?
Feels like if turn 2 you're willing to make that Seal Sledge, may as well get 3 layers, right? But I guess keeping it makes sense when you know
Nah,
that a
that
CC
should-
is coming.
That shit looks Thanos. Look at Scarf Razor Shell late game.
Yeah.
There's
But
one
like,
auto resist, yeah.
why was the turn 2 click? That's like so needlessly aggressive then.
Well, it's probably like a hard call on T-Spike, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely not. It's
Mhm.
not needed for sure.
And here's Stealing on the floor, just great prediction. So Vergi, a lot of aggressive reads back to back to back, and they all pay off. So really good stuff there. We played Wi-Fi, ran a full shiny team against someone who thought PK Hex was cheating. That's a good bit. That's a really good bit. I'm not gonna lie. But now Florges is in, and
And Gerbil turns off his brain.
yep.
Bang.
Goodbye, Dragapult.
What's a choice
Now
card?
we had a whole ass Empoleon right there, but alas. Now Serena's gonna
it's
come in,
chill.
gets the spin kill opportunity. Gets crit by the Moonblast. Why does that do so much? That's like Specs, Scarf, Pixie Plate. Like 81
Yeah.
is ridiculous. But now Sneasler comes in, eats the Citrus Berry, gets the Unburdened boost, so will outspeed the Scarf. Serena goes for the close combat, but Mudsdale pretty easily shrugs that off. But the T-Spikes is reestablished.
This might be the only metagame in the history of time where Mudsdale is a real Pokemon.
Literally. It's been like low-key, like pretty good in the
Very
games
good.
as well.
Yeah.
Now Mega Chomp comes in, definitely going to be special against the Mudsdale team. So it just fires off that Surf, and then a Draco here to try to cover like a switch to like Samurott, I suppose. But now Serena can come in with a Choice Scarf. You're able to get that Suicide Spin, get rid of the T-Spike, which is a really big deal for stuff like the Gallade. You know, I say stuff like the Gallade, it's only the Gallade really. The Samurott doesn't really need its HP, I don't think. But okay, Yawn in exchange for the Thunder. Yeah, but now you can go for the Flip Turn. If it stays in, it's going to fall asleep. If they switch, you get momentum into the Samurott.
Can we talk about that? I promise you, that was originally like a different move, like probably Energy Ball or some shit. And Toxic said, nah, put Thunder on that shit. I promise you. It's on the same team,
It's just for Empoleon. I don't think it's that deep.
Nah, you could definitely be like any other move. Like, doesn't Knockoff beat it long term if you're Calm Mind?
Empoleon has Roost.
Yeah, but you just Calm Mind over it. I guess there's Yawn.
It has Roar. It has Yawn. There's lots of tools to like 1v1 Reuniclus from Empoleon.
Maybe I'm exposing my PTSD. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, it could be Focus Blast as well to hit Samurott. But Thunder, what does Thunder even hit? What's on the bench?
Samurott?
Talonflame, Dragonite. Really doesn't feel super necessary. I feel like Focus Blast definitely better there.
Is it better? I guess with Thunder you have pair odds too. I guess it's just objectively better. You know what? I give it the pass.
All right, but now the third layer goes up, lock into the Season's Edge. This does allow T-Tar to come in. A potential Dragon Dance could be Thanos here, I'm not going to lie.
Well, even if it is, you just go Hard Blade or this, right?
We go Empoleon, catches a T-Wave. So bulky T-Tar, Sigh of Relief, right? Knocks off the Shuka Berry, but now you get a Torrent Flip Turn into
I love the game chat.
T-Tar.
The game chat is so funny.
Yeah.
On this next turn.
Okay, I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
Okay, Gallade comes
next...
in.
Yeah.
But Verky actually going to make a really nice play here. Goes for the Drain Punch, doesn't Mega Evolve. And this keeps the Sharpness ability. So now your X-Scissor is much stronger into Reuniclus than Mega. 59%. If you like Mega Gallade would only do like 50%. So it's like an extra 9% per turn. And here's a Trick Room. But we're going to pivot to Samurott on the Psychic. Really unnecessary play, but makes you look like a beast. Now Empoleon on the recover. I'm pretty sure you can just stay in and kill this with the Gallade, but...
No, he's him.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Scarf Samurott. Well, actually, if Gallade gets low, and if Mega Chomp kills it off with Scale Shot, can't you lose? Am I tripping? Like if Gallade
maybe
takes
you
that
can,
second
yeah.
initially.
Hold on.
Yeah. Like if you go back, I feel like
here,
like where you said a really unnecessary play, right?
Oh no. You just Mega Evolve versus the Garchomp. Then you're faster.
Okay, yeah, you're just doing tricks on it.
It's just doing tricks. Yeah. Classic Vergy endgame. What can I say?
It's honestly tough to say. I didn't even have to Mega to beat you. That's tough.
Yeah. I feel like that has to be like a Cypher bar somewhere.
Didn't have to Mega to beat you.
I think Joey does something similar. Didn't even need 6 months in my party to beat you. Something like that. I forget the exact line. But okay, Vergy with the win. And now that brings them up in the series, right? Yeah, up in the series 3-2. Going on to game 6. AM22 versus Wombo.
We have Dumbo combo versus Beso 2 AM.
Yeah. Shout out to 2 AM, one of my favorite times.
Hall of Fame matchup right here.
Yeah. So we have this like screens into Goldingo kind of setup, but you also have the dynamic of the Psychic Terrain into Deoxys. So 2 options for you there. The Dio Gold has been like proven very Thanos over like the past few team tours. So good combination there, but then you add another dynamic with the Indeedee. I really like Indeedee plus Deoxys. I run Hawlucha on a team very similar to this like 2 years ago. It was quite good. But it's facing up against this Sun team with Raging Bolt and Slitherwing. So we'll see who ends up on top. It's Terra Fire on the Bolt, Terra Fairy on the Slitherwing, and then Terra Ghost on the Goldango, Fairy on the Indeedee. Ninetales going to lead off into the Iron Valiant. Can pretty much safely fire off a Weather Bolt. Instead, going to switch into the G-King. Feels like close combat there probably doesn't kill the Ninetales and you can kill back, right? So maybe this is Sash Valiant as a lead. That's the only way that makes sense in my head that you would CC in that turn. But we're going to switch out to Gliscor on the Chilly Reception. Go to Iron Treads. You have that Ice Spinner on deck with the Air Balloon. Maybe scared of Band? Maybe, yeah. Because you don't have too much information. You want to keep the Sun if you can. And when you have a G-King, there's no point risking the HP on it, so fair enough. But Ice Spinner into Valiant. Is that Scarf Valiant? It looks like Scarf Valiant the way it pivoted in there. I guess no, it's not Scarf. I was thinking the balloon was booster energy for some reason. But here's the Destiny Bond. So it probably was Sash Bond lead. Trying to like get big damage, and then when the G-King comes in, you Destiny Bond it. But AM22, he's too old for this. He's not going to fall for such basic tricks. Chilly Reception's out into DNC, which can be slower, make the Destiny Bond expire. You take a hit, but you trade the Valiant for it. Probably a fine trade for the DNC. Right, now Gliscor comes in. Gliscor going to be responded to by the Treads as rocks go up. Can look for a spin, but instead going to be the Ice Spinner. Can eat through that Yachi Berry.
I love this next turn.
Oh yeah, this one. We could talk about it a little bit. So here, rocks are up. Removing rocks is somewhat important to Sun teams, right? Especially ones with Terrifier Raging Bolt, which this one does have. However, there is a Goldango in the back, and here, like, the legal moves, quote-unquote, are like Ice Spinner or Spin. So Goldango, pretty reasonable to come in here. So AM22 is actually going to make, like, the most aggressive play ever. Go for the Earthquake, expecting the Goldango to try to spin block here, but instead, the Gliscor just stays in, and because it's Yachi Berry, it actually affords quite a lot of attack investment, and Iron Treads goes down to the Earthquake.
In the chat, Wombo's like, I'll take it. That's aura. That's aura.
Yeah. He was definitely just sacking the Gliscor to then get the safe Terra from Goldango, and then you wall it the entire rest of the game without any risk whatsoever. And Gliscor, like, who give a bep? But now he gets to keep it. Go Tentacruel on the Ninetales, and now you can just flip turn pretty safely. There's a Will-O-Wisp, but you get momentum here. Yep, there it is. And now Thanos is in. Thanos Supreme. And here, Expanding Force is coming, and there's no Psychic Resist on the entire team now that the Treads is gone. G-King comes in 53, 2-hit KO'd even before the rocks. So that goes down. Now Raging Bolt gonna hit the field. Can't go for Thunderclap, but it does have that booster special attack. It is Choice Scarf, or at least faster than the Indeedee, maybe modest, bulky. Who's to say? But I'll just go ahead and say Choice Scarf. It is quite often on these Sun teams going to be a Choice Scarf Raging Bolt. But modest now, adamant. Thanos number 2. Deoxys with the Psychic Terrain up, going to go for that Expanding Force, knocks out the DNC. Is this Terrain Extender? It is Terrain Extender, so there's no threat of like a first impression here. Slitherwing kind of forced to Terra here just to take this, looks like Choice Specs Expanding Force. His booster attack goes for the Terra Fairy. It looks to be Assault Vest Slitherwing on that. Either that or it's just like absolutely not specs at all on the Deoxys.
It's AV. It's definitely AV out the ass.
It might be specs and AV because, yeah, crit doing 59.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's like Twisted Spoon. I really am not familiar with Expanded Force into AV Slitherwing calcs, unfortunately.
I feel like they do they even have a Dark type on the bench?
Let's see.
AM's team? Probably not.
AM22. There's a Moltres G on the bench.
I guess it could have been like
maybe it's Misto.
Misto Beam, yeah, probably Misto Beam.
Yeah, honestly, Ninetales and the G-Molt, like Misto goes a long way, so it's probably just modest. That's why it's doing so much damage, and then just AV offensive Slitherwing. That makes the most sense. Look at us, detectives. And now Tentacruel can come in, pretty safe to just knock out something. or get switch advantage with the flip turn. Now Goldango comes in. This is Psychic
Thanos number
Seed.
3 hit the field.
Yeah. And I don't think you break this Goldango. Ninetales is going to come in on the nasty plot, but you can just Terra here. Surely, right? Yeah, Terra Ghost. Here's a Healing Wish, but the recover. Heads up from Wombo, and now Slitherwing. Gonna come back to full, but you have to imagine not able to 1v1.
It's important too, though, because if you were faster, maybe
Yeah,
you got
make
off
it
damage,
rain.
and maybe there was a chance, right? You could maybe sweep with Scarf Dragon Pulse, but because you weren't faster than it, so this gold had a good amount of speed as well, which is interesting.
I'd also say like the AV Slithering not likely to be carrying much speed investment. Like you need max HP to be able to take those hits that it was taking, and also like it was booster attack in the sun. You want to be able to do damage back as well into like a Gliscor team. You probably want that boost on your Flare Blitz.
That's just a great Goldango set. Like,
Yeah.
the Terra Gold is so fucking good.
It's so good, especially into fat teams. But here it's not even into a fat team. Just
Shout
out
out
away
to
anyways.
Zero Hero for inventing that shit in
Yeah.
DWO.
Yeah, literally Thanos. Well, we saw like it popping up in World Cup a few years ago, but nothing super serious until that most recent stuff. All right, Game 7. Woo! What's the series at right now? I should have been watching from this perspective for the Huge Power side, but I believe that's tying up the series, right? Yeah, the last two ones I did the wrong way around. My bad. Yeah, that was Draft Dodgers 1 and then Huge Power 1. So it's tied up 3-3, I think. I like to reminisce Logical Dota 2. Probably, right? You already counted them in battle chat? Yeah, we're way ahead of you, buddy. Sablo versus Undead. Another Sandy Shocks. This is plural Sandy Shocks in the week. Kind of crazy, no? But here, I mean, it's up against a Lando, so another,
It must be
again, Terra Water.
There's got to be something in the water supply. There's no other explanation.
Mm-hmm.
The Sandy Shocks infestation.
Yeah. It's going to be a Terra Keldeo mirror. Undead has a Meowscarada on the bench.
The
But
hell?
It's also a Tinkaton mirror, so like you have a Tinkaton. My Meowscarada is mostly just going to be revenging stuff.
But is that truly grounds to bench a Meowscarada?
I don't
In
think
fucking
so, but
Scarlet-
Undead
in
thinks
Scarlet
so, and that's
Violet?
what's important.
Right. I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm. Right. So actually, interesting enough, is a Terra Fighting mirror on both Keldeos, which is particularly shocking for Sablo because he's playing against 4 like really bulky fighting resists, right? The Necrozma, Dragalogy, Vikavolt, and
know what?
Landorus.
Alpha 5, I just had the biggest brain idea ever. I just solved the Meowscarada Tinkaton matchup. Are you ready? You just lead with the Meow and you put Sticky Barb on. And then when they switch into their Pickpocket Tinkaton, you click Knockoff, and then they steal your Sticky Barb.
I have
that
seen that
genius or what?
before, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw that on one of my mocks when I was playing Lax in DCL Season 2. Someone
You guys
brought
can
that
thank me
against me.
later.
And I was
Yeah.
like, huh, that's awesome. It's not coming.
Shit.
But it's like, I was the Meowscarada, so that someone like suggested that, and I was like, probably not, right? Like, it's cool, it would work, but like, that still means I have to be Sticky Barb Meowscarada. I don't want to do that.
Fair enough.
Alternatively, you lead Meow and click Spike on their switch to Tinkaton. Yeah, just click Spike. Or you could click Banded Low Kick. That's like the Panda solution. Where like actually 2-hit KOs, max defense Tinkaton. So,
That's tough.
yeah. Or like it's a roll, I think. But regardless, we're getting off track. Fairy Necrozma, Water, Sandy Shocks. Is the Braviary also Terra? Let's see.
Well, it's interesting to see
Yes,
fight
it
on
is.
Sablo's end, because there's like 4 fighting resist, but I guess they don't really love coming in on Keldeo, right?
Yeah. So here it is. Keldeo gonna lead off into the Landorus. And we're just gonna rip a Terra-Fighting Spec Secret Sword for 48 onto Dragalogy and immediately do a KO it from a high roll. Awesome. Love that. So despite all these fighting resists, Undead unable to deal with Keldeo. Now goes Vikavolt, another Secret Sword comes out, just 47% as Sticky Web goes up. This time we are going to switch into Sandy Shocks on a Balloon, catches the Volt switch. Now we're threatening a Power Gem, potentially, as Keldeo comes out. Going to catch a Terra Blast instead.
Was Hazard
leftovers.
just not better there?
It would have been, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe you're saying you want to defog with Braviary soon, so setting hazards is not important. And here the Braviary is coming in on Surf to 66, but probably going to be Choice Scarf Braviary. It could be Scarf Defog. Undead not going to play around with Scarf Bravebird, and Tinkaton comes in on the Scarf Defog. So can get up rocks again, but it is going to allow Keldeo in on the field, and we already saw Undead not really comfortable switching in. You're going to see a Surf this time, going to knock out that Vikavolt in one hit. Now, Keldeo is going to take advantage here, but we have a full HP Tinkaton, not the end of the world. Although, the Terra Fighting Secret Sword, this is kind of what it's here for, breaking down the Tinkaton. Not going to go for the Terra Fighting, though, so that means we're saving the Necrozma Terra. Terra Fairy, pretty potent into this kind of team with Dragonite, and Meowscarada gives you, like, pretty good setup opportunities into Keldeo. I guess same as default, but, you know, you get the point. Fairy's good.
I feel like these last 3 turns were a super winning trade for Sablo. Get the rocks up, get Keldeo at half.
Yeah, getting the
it's
parry
paralyzed.
here, very nice.
Like, he didn't psych himself out about the Landorus. He just said, yeah, I'll rip a T-Wave, it's fine.
Yeah, now Surf is a guaranteed kill, so Sablo just going to take that. Vacuum Wave comes out, very little damage, and Keldeo goes down. Reluctant to Surf, should be hard to set up on this, but now Tinkaton comes in, threatening a T-Wave of its own, but Surf comes out. Do we see the T-Wave? There is the T-Wave, so a little bit of a mirror matchup, a little bit of same Tinkaton sets, well, samey. Gaton comes out, big chip on the Keldeo, but now Necrozma comes in, it's paired Keldeo, Dragonite comes in on the Dragon Dance. But it is worth noting that, what is it? The signature move, what is it called? I'm blinking.
Photon Geyser.
Photon Geyser goes through multi-scale. So,
Yep.
Necrozma Blast.
I'm going to go for a Terra Blast instead, which is slightly weaker, but with the Encore, that means now you're locked into a Fairy move, which there's no resist, rather than the Photon Geyser, which you could just go Masquerada. So, good call on that, going for the Terra Blast. Now, a critical hit E-Speed, this is so sad. Why are we getting hacked? That's 1 kill for Necrozma. Now, Braviary comes in. It is Choice Scarf, so going to get some good chip, but Necrozma does live. Looks to be bulky Dragon Dance. Knocks that out. Now, Meowscarada, is this another Choice Scarf? Double Scarf? And it is going to be double Scarf. So Sablo has this one completely locked up. Now,
to be fair, like, the crit on Necrozma actually mattered a lot because it meant that he could lock Flower Trick instead of locking Triple Axle. Regardless, I do think regular E-Speed into Body Slam probably puts Necrozma in range of Triple Axle, but you have to hit all of them, which is the problem.
yeah.
And then, of course, the other thing, too, is, like, once Necrozma Encore wears off, you could go for Morning Sun.
Well, no, I think if it didn't put it in range, you would just U-turn and sack Shocks,
Yeah.
right?
Stupid.
Yeah.
That would definitely put it in range. And you're still on court for one more turn, so you're not risking anything.
Well, Sub says you don't die to Terra Blast with Meow, but I think +1 Terra Fairy definitely kills Meow, right? Like, it's a +1 stab move.
No, because, like,
Sure.
you saw how little the Body Slam was doing. This is not, like, offensive Necrozma. It's bulky Dragon Dance.
Okay,
But I
perhaps
don't
you
think
do
it
live
kills.
that. Yeah, you
Okay,
probably do live it
Sablo
then.
puts his team in a prime position to potentially even, like, lock playoffs if Sharky wins this one.
Yo, why did your mic quality suddenly go from dog shit to being Thanos? What?
Did it?
At least on my end. I don't know if anybody else in the
I-
call heard.
Don't hear a difference.
It
Okay.
it sounds the exact
It
same.
never sounded bad in the first place for me.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounded
Alright.
bad for me for like an hour, but now it just sounds good, but it's fine.
So my mic sounds bad for an hour while I'm streaming. You're not gonna say anything, even if you're
You know,
wrong.
like-
Like, say something, right?
Arg.
Ah.
Sorry, I was LARPing as Palkia62. I just didn't agree with the
You
mic.
just went
but-
Cinderace on Mew.
Yeah, but I didn't want to say anything. I just didn't agree with it though.
Okay. Okay. Topical.
Oh,
All right,
shit.
Sharky
We got a
King
big game
versus
here.
Agency Zone. This will be the last one of the stream, and then we'll resume the last series probably on Thursday. Maybe if I have time tomorrow, but I don't think I will. But yeah, Sharky
Do you
versus
just hate us?
Agency. What's up?
Do you just hate us, bro? Not
Yes.
giving us the full.
Yes, 100%. I hate all of you,
I will
especially
say-
Synthwrath.
Sharky,
Chill on me.
Sharky's actually a player I think does really well in Swish. Like I've played him before in Swish, and I think he's actually a good Swish player. I think Sharky's strengths as a player lend themselves well to Swish. So I actually had like high hopes going into this game, but
It's definitely a winnable game, right? Obviously, Agency is going to be the
sure.
favorite, but yeah, definitely can punch up.
and the funny thing about this game too is there's so much fucking history and beef between these two guys, right?
Yeah.
So Sharky was formerly a teammate of a team that were Agency captained, and after Sharky lost one of his games, he comes into the server and asks for feedback on his game, to which Agency promptly responds, "You're bad. That's your critique." And of course, the notorious screenshot made its rounds through multiple servers, and so either way, no matter who wins this game, there's like so much ammunition. For
Yeah.
shit talk.
All right. Well, shall we do the
We
honors?
shall. We shall.
You want to cast this one? I feel like I've done most of them.
Yeah, I can cast this one. So turn one, we're gonna see a Mew lead versus a Victini. Now this tells you a couple things. Obviously, oh well. Spoiler, the hell?
Shh.
Well, if you see a lead Mew, it's probably going to indicate some kind of hazards or some kind of screens, right? Otherwise, you don't typically lead with Mew. Normally, you're going to keep it in the back, right? Now, lead Victini doesn't really tell you a lot. Obviously, it's nice to just lead with an offensive Pokemon, but that being said, there are plenty of there's 4 fire resists, right? So, I don't know. I feel like if I'm Sharky, there should be maybe some kind of alarm bells going off. Like, why would you just lead with the guy that wants to switch out on 4 Pokemon? But no such thing happens here. We see the lead, final gambit. Just wanted to make it a 5v5, which honestly, you look at the nature of Sharky's team, it's probably better for Agency, you know? So turn 2, we're going to go to our Kyurem here. Nice offensive position for it. And we're just going to rip a Ancient Power. And when you see something like this and you're Sharky King, what are you even meant to do? What is even the counterplay? Because you see the overheat here, okay? And maybe for the untrained eye, you don't know what's going on, but this does show you, or
Assault
should clue
Vest.
you in, that it's Assault Vest Kyurem. So this guy literally just has 4 attacks, right? So as
Yeah.
Sharky here, you've got to fight back. You know, you might think, okay, probably the Dragon move or the Ancient Power comes out here. So how would we best respond to that? We're going to go into our Aegislash. But Agency, darn, he's a good player. Knows that that's
Rats.
what is coming. And our fucking Aegislash is just dead. We get off
I
of
hate
Poultry,
that.
16% with Shadow Sneak. But it's fine. We have technology still. We can still bring this back. We have the Scarf Scent, and it does 44. Because of the fucking Ancient Power boost. So, you know, unfortunately, we are resigned to sacking 3 Pokemon to deal with, or I guess 2.5 Pokemon to deal with this Kyurem.
You think
And it just
could
kinda-
have gone Thingy first? Because like no way freeze dry one shots, right? Or like am I just
Well, go back a little bit. Go back to the turn before Pyro Ball was launched. Okay,
or
so
like do you think it probably doesn't 2-shot the Kyurem or something?
I'm telling you, Moonblast absolutely does not kill Assault Vest plus 1 Spadef Kyurem at 64.
I would guess it would do
no,
like
I'm saying like 2 of them
under.
because it's Scarf.
I think it would do under
Well,
35.
If you the only way you outpace is if you're Scarf Feeny, then you're taking a lot from Freeze Dry. You probably live it,
Oh,
but
honestly, I guess maybe he doesn't even fully know that he's faster with Spheny yet, even with the Scarf. I don't know.
that's the other thing too, right? Because you could just be like a lot of speed. You could be like modest, a ton of speed, and then Spadef. Like that's a viable EV path for Kyurem to take, right? You don't need to invest in its HP.
Yeah, and then he would have
So I
taken
don't-
like 70 on his Spheny or however.
I
much
don't
Freeze Dry it is.
disagree, but maybe what I would have done is I would have U-turned with Cinderace and then sacked Rotom and then tried to kill with Pyro Ball after. But there's no clear.
There's no
you
way
know
in
what I
that
mean?
one.
Like
Yeah.
it's so fucked because like you don't have all the information you need. You're at a severe stat disadvantage. Like there's no recourse. There's just no.
Yeah,
coming
like
back.
you're
I'm-
fucked no matter what, right?
You are, and it's sad, but it's just one of those things where 10% of the time you just lose.
Yeah, World Cup Thanos with a veteran first turn Omni boost. He pulled a Dr. Geo, bro.
Like honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. Like what are you supposed to do with Sharky, bro? The whole
Yeah.
game plan is out the fucking window.
To be fair, Agency's World Cup game, that was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. But this is like, oh, what was Shark supposed to do, man? Like, he didn't get a fair shot.
J-Ricky trying to save the day. We're at 6-7. But not even J-Ricky and 6-7 memes can save us from the deprived situation that we found ourselves in. Head Smash going to be launched and missed
Yeah,
for the love of the game.
Insult to
But it's fine.
injury.
It's fine. We can Head Smash again. but we still can't land because we just don't give a fuck. So agency over there probably, if I'm him, I'm probably laughing. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie, I'm probably laughing when this happens.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a serious game, and like, sure, I want to have respect for my fellow man, but honestly, I'd be laughing my ass off at this
For sure. For
because
sure.
now the unfortunate reality that we put ourselves in is that we can just send out Corviknight and jerk off for like 30 turns, and there's nothing Sharky can do because Corviknight
Mhm.
existence is just too tough.
A
We can
crit
just
here
pressure
would have
so
been
hard
kind of
to-
tough, but I think even then it's not like game winning.
It's still not winnable because you're locked into Scarf Pump, which means that
Coco
Thanos comes in and gets a kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, Surfetched comes in and gets a kill.
Oh.
No, that's Thanos. It's Surfetched.
Yeah.
I said what I said. We're gonna
Yeah.
see bulky plot Rotom, which to be honest, into the structure actually looked really fucking amazing. But
Mhm.
you know, when we get ancient powered on, it's like fuck. So Thanos can come in here, do a nice 40%. Probably banded based on
I
that
think
damage.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just doesn't matter. There's no legal lock for Sharky to click. And please ignore me being brain rotted in the chat there. We all
We
have
all
demons we're
ignoring
fighting.
it.
Some of our demons are just more serious than others, right? So
Yeah.
Thunderbolt is going to claim its kill Infinity at this point. It's Rotom versus the world. You already know how this shit ends.
Yeah.
It's just really sad because Sharky didn't even really get a chance to play the fucking game.
Mhm.
And I think what's even funnier, I wish you could pull up in the fucking DPL chat, like literally no less than like 4 minutes after the
I have
game
it
is played.
pinned.
Yeah, he fucking
I will
sends
get
it. He tags Sharky with the original "You're bad, that's your critique," and it's like, damn, like we get that you beat the guy, but doing that right after hacking the balls off him is like, arg. It's funny though. Like as a spectator, it's funny as fuck. If you're Sharky, you'd be rightfully mad. Just one of those things. Bro laughs in your face after fucking robbing you in game 8. That's brutal. I don't know how you
That is a
recover
tough
from that.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do you even do? What do you even say?
Give up.
Just give up.
Give
low-key.
up. All right, that'll be it for this week. What a way to end it on. That is the thumbnail game as well. So maybe good scripting there, if anything. But thanks so much for joining me, Glop and Wyatt, and I guess Cinevrath too, I suppose. He popped in a little bit.
You just say you hate the guy.
I did. I said it during the stream. I hate him.
Real.
No, all love though. Guys, if you want to check out, I did a diss track on Trick of Eye, who is our opponent's week 7. That's on my channel. I just uploaded it this morning, so check that out. If you want to check out all of the content, as well as catch the future stream for that Trick of Eye versus Big Dog series that happened this last week. My server's linked down below. I'm linking it there. All that stuff. Be sure to leave a like. All that housekeeping. Booyah! I think we're
Be
good.
sure to-
We're good here.
I think be sure to leave a beso.
Beso. Can I get a beso?
Y'all have a beautiful rest of your day.